Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoe, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna f for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You f with me, sheesh. But need OG Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I was soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my low, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't relate with like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I was soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones a doubt and I dare the show. So way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shooting this breaks, I'm going in a new gig, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Hey, just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, Bitcoin, we had the kind of sus low on the chart yesterday, guys, and Bitcoin decided to come up a little bit and then sweep out that low, and we are getting the bounce, which does change my sentiment on this push to the upside, guys. So we're going to break down everything on the charts as Bitcoin gets the push up. Jerome Powell gives us those hints towards rate cuts coming in September. We also have every single bullish sign on the chart, guys, still lining up in this super tense situation as we had Ethereum pressed up against all-time highs. We had the stock market up against all-time highs. We have Bitcoin getting the correction, and we had the RTY, or the Russell 2000, looking for the breakout, and we finally got this to play out, guys. We got a lot to look at on the charts, and it is all pointing towards our longer-term sentiment for the final phases of the bull market to come in here. Hopefully see all season come in, and everything does just seem to be lining up continuously right on time. And I try to keep everybody nice and calm on those pullbacks, telling everybody when in doubt, zoom out. We talked about that a lot on the premium live stream earlier today. When in doubt, zoom out, guys. These pullbacks on especially Ethereum with the money flow coming up, you're looking for those higher lows and higher highs, and we are literally getting the bounce from the point of control that we have been looking at. So we're going to break down Ethereum. We'll break down Bitcoin. I'll go over the long-term analysis as well as the local price action and the key level above us that we must flip to see this continuation to the upside. So shout out to the CandleMafia and congrats to everybody holding Ethereum. And luckily, guys, I don't have to shave my head. We talked about that at Ethereum at $1,300. I said, if Ethereum doesn't make a new all-time high this cycle, I will shave my head. And listen, it's not a huge all-time high. We're kind of just playing around with the previous all-time high. But technically, numerically, Frankie Candles does not need to shave his head, which is good for you guys because you don't want to see me with a bald head. It's not a pretty sight. But shout out to the Mafia. ETH about to hit all-time high. MF's shout out to Roland420. We got Gen Z in the chat said, when ETH. We'll definitely take a look at ETH, guys. And like I said, we'll break down some of the altcoins as well. We also have some giveaways to do today. We have 10 bags of Cardano to give away tonight, as we do every single week on Fridays. So smash that like button, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we'll add $500 in Solana. Screw it. Maybe we'll send some Ethereum. We got Ethereum in all-time high, so I'll double that. 1,000 likes, we'll give away $500 in Solana. So smash that like button if you have not already. We got Dave Hagan in the chat. What is going on? Said the market took an X-lax, and now things are moving again. Shout out to Dave Hagan. She was a little clogged up for a bit. But yeah, we're going to break down everything for you. We got Jesse, our like police in the chat. Come on, guys, 1K like. Let me give away $500 in Solana. Let's do it. It's my favorite thing to do is give back to the Mafia. We got, shout out to Give Tyler Durden a raise. Said, let's get it, baby. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. We don't know. It can't be confirmed. That might be Tyler Durden, but shout out to you. We got International in the chat. What is going on? He said, you're always a handsome fella, my dude. Hey, shout out to International. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for saying that. Hey, I didn't say it. He said it. But anyway, guys, we got CandleMafia John Cena in the chat. Said, no hats. Come on, Mafia. Hey, we'll give away $500 in Solana and 3 Frankie Candles hats if we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream. We could do it. We could do it. Our viewer to like ratio is already really high, so hitting 1,000 is kind of crazy for us. But if we could do it, guys, we'll make it worth it for you. And it is free. It's a total of free $99, and the easiest and most risk-free way to support this channel. You don't have to spend any money and push us out into that algorithm, and hopefully so we can continue to spread the gospel of the final season here in the Bitcoin bull market. Hopefully we are entering that, guys. Let's see. Servando Estrada in the chat, guys. And don't forget, we do have our mods in the chat. We got Tyler Durden, Chemistry Bro, Captain Kirk, Crypto Anon, Crypto Billy, Rob the Crypto Snob. You guys know who they are. Show them some love in the chat, guys. But I'm not going to waste too much time here because we do have a lot to look at in the chart. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Oh, man. Guys, I'm excited here. Yo, Darren Does Things gifting the Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Shout out to Darren. Let's go. If you guys don't know Darren, he's one of our favorite mods here. Or not one of our favorite mods, but one of our special mods. I actually didn't mention his name before, but he is also one of the coaches here in our premium Discord as well. Great trader, great analyst. Shout out to Darren Does Things, showing some support to the Mafia for the ETH all-time high. I absolutely love it. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for doing that. And let's take a look here, guys. Ethereum, I'll just start off right here. Boop. Just booping that little all-time high here, guys. Absolutely beautiful to see. Now, obviously, guys, you don't want to get, I am personally, as a trader, I am never getting overly ambitious as we get these pushes to the upside. But as you guys know, last night we were covering some very specific things on the chart. And number one, the biggest thing we were looking at was this kind of sus low. We literally labeled this last night kind of sus, right? Because last night on the live stream, we were getting some 4-hour bullish divergences as we were front-running this major low that we had in the market. And we had the lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. Both divs started to print. But what was our bias here? Our bias was, hey, guys, I would much prefer to see this low taken. When you have a major low like this, it is very likely that you will come down and sweep it. And even if we were able to get a bigger continuation to the upside, we had some bigger levels of resistance we were looking at here for potential lower highs and lower lows. However, Bitcoin just wanted to put in an aggressive lower high to sweep out that low sooner than later. And I'll be honest with you guys, this does change my sentiment here for the bigger push to the upside, because yesterday, obviously, if we did front run this low without sweeping it, we were going to have to be very careful of coming back down to sweep that low. And now that we have swept it, guys, it does feel a lot better in my opinion. Obviously, we had Jerome Powell hinting towards rate cuts in September, which is obviously what the markets wanted to hear. And on top of that, guys, not only did we get the sweep of the low, obviously we were anticipating this even from a high time frame perspective. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick on the Bitstamp chart here, just so I can get a little bit of a cleaner chart, right? Obviously, we did have that golden pocket 786 Fibonacci retracement, which we've covered many a times. We looked for that close below the level, anticipating our high, low, lower high, lower low situation, which is why I was looking for that sweep of that $111,840 low. It's a little bit different here on Bitstamp, but that is why we were anticipating a push down below that low, and we got it, guys. And this actually does make me feel a lot better about this potentially being the low here for Bitcoin. I can't guarantee it. Like I said, we are going to be careful. We are also approaching our biggest level of resistance on the chart, which I will go over with you guys. We also have some liquidity sitting above as well, so we'll go over that with you so you know exactly what I'm going to be anticipating here moving forward if we can continue to march up here. But you got the 4-hour bull divs. You even got an SFP of the local low here, an SFP of the major low. So obviously the pump to the upside will be anticipated, but now we don't have to be, I am still going to be cautious of potential lower highs and lower lows, because if we take a look at our higher time frame money flow like the 12-hour, right, this is still technically coming to the downside, but I would have been much more worried about this if we had not taken that low. So just to put that up front, right, like we got the low sweat. This is, more often than not, guys, I like to be as educational as possible. on these live streams, and like when I mark out these kind of sus lows here, there is a reason for it. Even if we pumped up much higher before taking that low, I would still be anticipating that, but very nice to see Bitcoin take that nice and early. But this 12-hour money flow is still coming into the red here, so hopefully we could get the fake out. You would still have to be trading against the money flow here to anticipate a fake out, and I'm going to cover the biggest key level of resistance and kind of how I'll be playing that kind of thought of potentially coming into new all-time highs. But not only do we have the 4-hour bull div, we had 1-hour bull divs, SFP, and on top of that, guys, we do have that daily bullish divergence also looking to print here with our lower lows on our price action, our higher lows on our momentum waves, and the VWAP coming up to look to cross over that zero line. So if we could print that green dot, guys, that would be a nice extra confirmation to potentially continue up here. But again, you never want to get like super, super bullish on these pushes to the upside. You do have to be careful. There is still a possibility to come sweep this, right? Put in the lower high. If we are unable to break above this level, and even some levels we have above, we still have a little bit of work to do here, at least as far as Bitcoin goes. Ethereum's obviously already at its all-time high, but we do have to still be careful here. We are traders, and we made plenty of money here on the fake out of the previous all-time high. Although we had the doorway to higher prices, we knew if we got the failed auction or the fake out of that all-time high, we could see that breakdown, potentially anticipating in a sweep of that low. So it does look much better than yesterday, in my opinion, because of the sweep, because of the bull divs, and now we just need to see money flow kind of cook back to the upside. But I never want to create FOMO at the worst time, right? Like even here, we could be excited for all-time highs, but I would never say that's the best time to enter Bitcoin. You're literally buying Bitcoin as expensive as it's ever been. Same thing goes for Ethereum as of right now. But very, very nice to see, especially with Jerome Powell hinting towards those rate cuts. And guys, not only that, we have all the things that we have been looking at on the higher time frames, and I will go lower time frame in just a second, but obviously we have had the stock market. Well, that's Solana. That is not the stock market. Obviously the SPY getting the pop up here as well. Very, very, very nice. We have the Bitcoin dominance continuing to break to the downside. Very exciting for altcoins, guys. This is what we've been anticipating. We have the 2-day money flow crossing over into the red, and even with this 2-day bullish divergence that we were forming, even if we had to get a little bit more of a bounce, you get that 2-day bull div. Sure, that is a bullish confirmation. However, money flow is looking weak here, indicating a potential and very probable continuation to the downside. You get a little squeak to the upside and a continued breakdown here. 2-day money flow crossover, absolutely beautiful. Daily money flow giving you the super early signal we were looking at all the way up here, saying, hey guys, this daily money flow crossover is as good of a sign as we could possibly see. Break below that POC, maybe some turbulence on the value area low, but once we start getting under here, guys, with these money flow crossovers, this is looking weak. And, this is pretty much what we saw happen last time we got that big drop in 2021 on dominance, that money flow crossover into the red on the daily. We had the 2-day following shortly after that. Obviously, it does take a little more time for that 2-day, so that happens a little later. And I would say, guys, even if we get more turbulence on dominance, this is headed in the right direction exactly as we expected. Even if we got that turbulence, this is all just headed in the right direction in my own personal opinion. And as always, we do take a look at that RTY, right, or the Russell 2000. I mean, this has been a little bit of a little sketchy, right? Because we come up to our major level of resistance here, and if you guys don't know, this is pretty much like looking at the altcoin market for stocks. This is very, very good for overall, just for all markets, right? When we see these breakouts, you can oftentimes see that big pop to the upside. Last time we got that pop above this level, well, not really technically above this level, but above the value area high. You can see this was in Q4 of 2024, October, November, December, pushing into that level, getting the breakout. That's where we saw the altcoins perform really well. And as we came up for a test of this 786, I mean, this was the resistance level, value area high 786. We pushed up, got the rejection, but as soon as you break above that, guys, this is the breakout that you want to see. This is the doorway to higher prices, not just for the RTY, the stock market, and all that good stuff, but also that leaks into crypto. This is what we needed to see, guys. It's all lining up, and we're not crazy. We're not crazy. It gets a little bit sketchy as you get those pullbacks, but that's all you need is that break on the RTY. This all looks very good. And again, I don't want to create FOMO. Can we get pullbacks? Sure. We will be aware of that. Again, I'm going to break down the local levels, but just to show you guys the expected rate cuts, which we expected before Powell was talking, before Powell gave the hints. The expectations obviously got a little bit lowered yesterday. They did get lowered. They were at about, I think, like 70%. They are now back up to about 84%, which is very nice to see. And, I mean, all the signals are here, guys. We got the RTY popping up. We got the Bitcoin dominance bleeding out. We got the Ethereum chart with the fresh weekly money flow crossover, which, as you guys know, I've been screaming from the rooftops. These pullbacks, there is nothing on this chart that tells me that this is the top of Ethereum. If anything, this looks like it would be a more highly anticipated breakout. Obviously, you can get, fake outs and all that good stuff. But, You got to understand the higher time frame context, guys. And when you see that weekly money flow crossover, all those pullbacks are going to be for lackluster pullbacks, higher lows and higher highs to come. And obviously, we were looking at those key support levels on the live stream, looking at, well, I actually moved this down recently, but POC, value area low with the 786 sitting in there as well. You get below that value area high, push into the POC, value area low 786 confluence, and it looks nice, guys. It looks nice. Now, again, I don't want to pretend that like we can't get any other pullbacks, but this is all just tracking with exactly what we've been looking at. When you see these fresh weekly money flow crossovers, lackluster pullbacks, higher lows and higher highs, and that's how I feel. That's how I felt. I've stuck to this, and it is, not potentially, but continuing to play out here. I do hold a lot of Ethereum, so nobody wants to see this thing going to new all-time highs as much as I do. And technically, we did make one. Congratulations to all the ETH holders, but obviously, if we do break out of here, this is the last level of defense here, guys. We've covered the fact that we had the macro 786 that has held us down so many times, right? And then this is going to be that doorway to higher prices. We compared it to Bitcoin's similar situation that we had all the way back here, right? 786 was coming in on Bitcoin all the way back here. We came back up. We broke above it. We had to play around a little bit, so don't be surprised, right? If you push above it, put in a slight all-time high, and then we start to correct. But again, once you hold above that level, that's where things get really, really exciting. And it's the same exact 786 that we're looking at here on Ethereum. So very, 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 very nice. And even down here at $113,000 at the macro 786, not the place to be bearish on Ethereum, although we had not everybody, but tons of people. ETH's dead. I feel bad for the ETH holders, and it's like, I don't know how much lower people want this to go. I even said if we do not see an all-time high for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, I would I don't know if I said I'd shave my head or shave my beard. Thank God we don't have to do that because I don't look good with a shaved face or a shaved head. So I'm glad I dodged that bullet. But again, this is very, very, very nice to see, especially with all that confluence we're seeing on the stock market, on the RTY, on Bitcoin dominance, with the rate cuts coming in. It's all lining up, guys, for that final phase of the bull market that we've been waiting for. So yeah, very, very exciting. I wanted to start the stream off here on a positive note. And again, I'll break down these local levels with you, and I'll push into it. I'll go back into Ethereum and do a little bit more of a detailed analysis, but I kind of just wanted to break down things overall, guys. We are right on track here, and hopefully the fact that we swept this low, I don't want to say it's impossible to come back down and make a new lower low to visit our next big levels of support at between about 111 and 110K, and then all the way down to 107 to 108. And you guys know we pulled up this new chart that I made for you guys just to make it a little bit more easy to understand, right? Like, I'm okay if we do have to put in a lower high and a lower low, which, again, sweeping this low does make me feel better about potentially continuing up, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at to potentially anticipate all-time highs. But even if we did have to come down and put in that lower low again, just understand, still got big support here. Still got big support here. It's not until we get down to that 786 value area low where I would start to get a little bit concerned. And it does get dicey, guys. It does get dicey. But as we've been talking about, there are much more bullish puzzle pieces here for Bitcoin and crypto than there is bearish. It's kind of like if you want that, no alt season situation to play out, it would be something that we've really never seen happen, especially with the rate cuts coming in, with dominance dumping, right? It would just be the less probable situation, which is why I lean more bullish long term. And this is very, very nice to see. So the question is, if we are going to put in the lower high and the lower low, like what are the next big levels that we can comfortably anticipate new all-time highs, at least for Bitcoin? Well, Ethereum leading is very, very nice, which is very close, right, to what we've seen in the past. Ethereum gets that lead, gets that push into new all-time highs. The alts shortly follow after. But before we jump back into Ethereum, let's cover some of these key levels. So number one, what we looked at yesterday, we obviously had some local levels here at that value area low. This was a very key level to get above. Once you get above that, it does open the door to potentially come into the biggest level on the chart for Bitcoin, which right now does sit between 118,300 all the way down to this daily MPOC at 117,626. If we push up here, guys, this is where I would anticipate kind of, potential turbulence, right? It's very similar to what we had on the last approach to this level, right? We had the massive resistance here at that same exact level. Excuse me. Massive resistance sitting here at this level, but we knew once we were able to flip that to support, we would very likely come up and sweep this liquidity above $120,000. And then even on the way down, we were able to identify based off of money flow that we could get a bounce here to sweep out some of the upper liquidity above $121,500. And we did wind up seeing that happen. Caught a nice long position here in the premium Discord. Obviously shorted the failed auction here for the move back to the downside. And technically, guys, like I said, I have been holding my short position. I am still holding that short position. Profits locked in. Stop loss at break even. Where we at? Let me see if I could just pull this up for you guys real quick. Oh, it's frozen. Hang on one sec. So not that this is like a huge update or anything like that, but obviously still holding that short position, 22.31 locked in, got 382 unrealized left in here. I'm just letting this run. It'll stop me out in profit if we continue up. Totally fine with me. But I am still technically, just for what it's worth, I am still holding that position. But again, it is a guaranteed winning position. I'm not in that short because I think we're going to go to zero. But I would say if we do come up here, this is the biggest level to watch, guys. If we could creep up to that point of control and squeak above that POC of the range here at 118,300. This would be the big level to hold on top of, in my opinion, to then obviously, based off the volume profiles, you get above the low, doorway to that POC is open, flip that point of control. We can then look up towards the value area high where we have our next key levels of resistance, which really starts to get close to the doorway to all-time highs. We do have the golden pocket pulled from the all-time high to our current low here that we made today. 786, golden pocket. Right, this is going to be a pretty big level of resistance. It's like almost the exact same situation we saw last time. Right, you have the macro 786 golden pocket. I would say at this point, right, I feel pretty good getting above this major resistance again, just like we did back here for new all-time highs. Break above 118.3. Eventually, we are going to look for those all-time highs. Very similar situation here, but I would say like the technical door to get above in order to see new all-time highs. If you want to get real nitty-gritty, got to get above 118.3. I think if we're going to pull back, it's either going to happen at this level or into the golden pocket 786. Once you get above that 786, which does sit here at about $121,800, that is, a very, very likely case where we're going to see those new all-time highs, which my next target's to the upside. Let me go ahead and pull these up real quick. Where is it? Upper local targets, right? So we do have this Fibonacci extension level, kind of local levels here, 125, 926,000, leading all the way up to about $130,000. 128 is an honorable mention here. So these are like the next big three levels. They're pretty much the same exact levels that we looked at on the first approach, right? We had some local levels that we rejected here, but if we do wind up cracking up into new all-time highs, I do think these are going to be the three levels to watch. And if you didn't want to pay attention to the local levels, I would just say, hey, watch that next macro Fibonacci extension level sitting at about 129.8, right? 130K pretty much, which would be very, 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 very nice to see for Bitcoin. But we do have some work to do here, so just keep that in mind. I just wanted to bring up those upper targets in case we do break out. But all eyes on this $118,300 level, guys. This is going to be the level to get above. I will potentially be interested in some new short positions here, but I am going to treat those. We will be looking for them in the premium Discord, but if we can get them, I'm going to be very careful with them. It depends on what money flow looks like. If we can get the 12-hour money flow to crack back into the green, maybe it looks better for a continuation. It all depends on, if we can flip that POC, but I will be interested in potential rejections at this level. So make sure you have this marked off on your chart. 118.3 down to about 117,637. Flip on top of that. We're coming up for the last battle here before popping into new all-time highs. And we'll cover. It's hard for me to say exactly what's going to happen up here because we're still kind of far away. So we'll approach that situation as it becomes relevant. But very nice to see that sus low here, guys. And it's not even just this, right? We saw this happen the other day. We had like a daily level sitting like somewhere right down here. We front ran it with bullish confirmations. Sure, you can look for the move up, but the anticipation is to come down and sweep that key level. I've said many times, more often than not, you will see that happen. We saw it happen here when we came back down to that daily, and then we also saw it again here. We had the bullish divergences, but again, you got that key low here with liquidity sitting below, which does act as a magnet for price. And speaking of liquidity, let me go ahead and bring up some of these liquidation heat maps for you guys. We do have some of liquidity sitting locally above us, pretty much right above where we are right now, leading us into that $118,300 level. You could see that spike in liquidity is sitting in that 118.3 zone. So again, we do have that liquidity sitting up there, which could act as a magnet, right? Potentially, also based off the volume profile, value area low, you are going to expect to potentially get sucked up towards that POC, and you have that liquidity kind of backing you up. Now, on top of that, we also do have some liquidity sitting up around about $120,000, right? So it's like literally like almost the exact same situation here. Let me pull up the I pull up the 1 week time frame here real quick. You guys can see here, there is a bunch of liquidity up here. If I pull up the 2 week, it might be a little bit cleaner to kind of show the cluster at 120K, or it might have actually changed, to be honest with you. You could see up here, 120,000. I'll kind of highlight it a little better here. We have that liquidity up here between about 100 and I would call it about 120, all the way leading up to about 121.5, which is literally the exact same thing that we had back here, right? It was like between 120 and 121.5. We're at all that liquidity to come up and sweep. So very similar situation. So we have the liquidity up, local liquidity above into our next key level of resistance, $120,000 liquidity. But again, still got a lot of liquidity sitting down here below the lows. So again, I do like that we swept out this low, but nothing goes up in a straight line forever. As a trader, guys, we have to be aware, if you get the bearish confirmations, we could still come out and take that low, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? New information comes into the chart every single day. And that's what we said yesterday, right? It's like, well, hey, if we push up without hitting the low, I'm going to be very cautious for lower highs and lower lows. So the higher probability situation was the lower high and lower low, but I feel much better now that we swept out this low. Like, it makes this no longer suspicious, right? This is now finished. So very nice, but we do still have some liquidity sitting down there. If we have to get the dump, again, that would not change my longer term sentiment, just like it didn't on this drop. I would still be looking for the long-term continuation up, but just to have you guys ready for some of that potential volatility, right? Could still see something like that. But hopefully we don't have to deal with it, right? Hopefully money flow can fake back out. Taking a look at the 4 hour here, right? Money flow is obviously still in the red. So, there is a reason why we look for this. It's not just like, could go up, could go down, which sure, that is true. But, this money flow, like, let's see the 4 hour money flow come into the green. Let's get that 12 hour and 16 hour money flow to crack back up into the green. And first off, let's see if we can get that daily bullish divergence. So as of right now, this is the current range I will be looking at. Value area low, 115,639. POC, daily MPOC. I know that gets confusing. Point of control of the range and the daily naked point of control, 117,626 up to 118,319. Biggest level to get above. Once we get up here, hey, at this point, I'm saying let's cook to all-time highs, but you do technically have that 786 at 121.8. And there is liquidity pretty much sitting up above 120K, leading all the way up to that 786. So as long as we don't get another one of those fake outs for a bigger drop down, it could just turn into a short squeeze. And especially, if we just see this bullish momentum continue, right? Rate cuts, all that stuff, you got to be aware of the short squeeze situation, right? It's always going to be more dangerous to short the tippy tops here at all-time highs. That's why on the short position that I'm in right now, or still holding technically from up here, the reason we took this, right, I did not take it on the push to the upside. I actually waited for the loss of our key level here, which was the previous high. Right, and that was about where I entered. I don't think it was to the dollar, right? Just below that. Started losing that level. Failed auction, fake out of the all-time high confirmed, and then we got that big drop down and enjoyed that drop to the downside. So very nice, very exciting, guys. I don't want to, create FOMO, as I always say. The charts go up and down, right? But for me personally, for our new long positions, I got to wait for some kind of a pullback, right? Obviously, we got the beautiful setup here with the 1 hour bullish divergence, 4 hour bullish divergence with the SFP. Unfortunately, I was just not on the charts at the time of this setup. Sticky situation, but I'm not chasing up here, right? Like, I would rather just let this thing go without me than take a long after an entire move up like this. So pullbacks, I'll be looking for longs on the dips. Biggest key level of support, 115,639 at the value area low. At this point, right, I can really only say that, a potential short setup here at the POC is the next thing I will be looking at with confirmations. But again, I would be treating that, be very, very, very careful around that value area low if we do hold here, right? Because volume profile would call value area low, POC, and eventual visit to the value area high. So very nice to see here, guys. Super exciting, right? It kind of makes me feel less and less crazy. Bitcoin, Ethereum not making an all-time high is super unlikely. And, even if, thank God, even if this is the top, which I don't think it is, it could be, right? I don't think it is personally, but, I won't have to shave my head now. That would be, saved a shaved head by 0.4%. I'll take it. All right, yo, shout out to Crypto D-Gen said LSLS, or let's see. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. Hit the likes, guys. I want to win a bag. Shout out to Keely. Let's go. We will be giving away 10 bags of Cardano. 1,000 likes gives us $500 in Solana to give away and 3 Frankie Candles hats. So run up the likes. Hang on, let me just make sure we don't have any super chats here. I will dive into some of the altcoins as well. I'll try to cover Ethereum a little bit, but honestly, my thoughts on Ethereum remain the same. But yo, shout out to Ravioli Trail gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go, baby, let's go. Shout out to Ravioli Trail. Don't tell my Italian family, guys, but I'm low-key not a fan of ravioli. I'm a chicken parmesan guy. I'm a penny vodka guy. I'm just not a big ravioli guy. I'm not a big ricotta guy. And people are like, you mean ricotta? It's ricotta. It's not ricotta. It's ricotta. But anyway, shout out to Ravioli Trail. Thank you so much for gifting those memberships. And Darren Does Things. And Darren Does Things, thank you for the super chat, said, GG at all-time highs, stacking and sharing gains. Bing bong. Shout out to Darren. Let's go, baby. When the Mafia wins, everybody wins. Let's go. Let's see. Shout out to Al Jr. said, I don't care about the bags. Just stay safe and alive, and I will be happy, man. You changed my life. Shout out to Al Jr. I appreciate that, bro. Let's go, baby. That's what I like to hear. If I could help anybody in their trading journey or even their long-term investing throughout these crazy crypto cycles, guys, just remaining rock solid in our sentiment here through some pretty scary dumps. Right? It all has to do with the charts, and I teach you guys how to do this yourself every single day. My goal here is to help you guys grow as analysts, grow as traders, grow as investors, and not buy the top and hold it to the bottom, but buy when you should be in the bear markets and selling up in the highs. But even on these scary drops, guys, 30% pullbacks are never something to worry about in a bull market. I don't want to say never, right? But every pullback here, right? Everyone's super bearish. Is this the bear market? I cover this every day. Oh my God, big pullback. Is this the bear market? Nope. And, I never say it 100%, with 100% conviction, but I just say what's based off the charts. Like nothing on the charts here says the top is in. Nothing on the charts here says this is the start of the bear market. And nothing based off this drop to the downside really makes me think that the top is in. We need more development to the downside to kind of figure out if that was the top. But, just remaining rock solid here and hopefully kind of, especially on Ethereum, as we look to come into that major target near the all-time high / Fibonacci extension zone, which obviously we did have that target here. Fibonacci extension was starting at about 4,700 into the all-time high, right? It's not impossible to get pullbacks from those levels, guys, right? So, like, when you're anticipating pullbacks at key levels, it gets a little less scary, right? But if you're just coming in because you see ETH in the headlines and you're like, I'm going to buy, it's going up, this is the bull market, right? And then you instantly come into drawdown. This is why people get so bearish on these drops, right? Because they're coming in at the wrong time. But trying to keep the Mafia prepared here, like, expect pullbacks here, right? But you have massive support here that you could easily hold for a push and to make a higher high. And here we are technically making that higher high by about 0.4%. Absolutely beautiful to see. But hopefully I was able to kind of like tame the fear on the drops to the downside and, not only by just talking about it as we're coming down, but also by having people anticipate like, hey, this is a major target. Resistance oftentimes will resistance, right? Resistance is resistancing and support is supporting, right? So very nice to see. And to see overall context of the market, weekly money flow crossover into the green, 6-day money flow crossover into the green. This is the exact setup we saw on Bitcoin before we broke off into the real run. And I won't show it again because I don't want to beat the dead horse. But if you watch, we covered this many, many a times. All right, let's see here. Yo, shout out to Off Grid Carnivore. Thank you for the super chat. Said, in an absolutely ripper of an ETH play, mind charting a DGen 1 hour outlook. Thank you, sir. Paying for my steak for life, brother. Much love. Shout out to Off Grid Carnivore. Yes, I'll take a look at the lower time frames here on Ethereum as well. We got Sean G. Thank you for the super chat. Said, hi, chat. I have a sell order for ETH, 5K selling 5K selling 16 ETH. Do you think it's good or change to 5.5K or 5.2K? I know I not get 7K plus, but my ETH buy-in was 2018. I still have ETH left. I just want to help. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to Sean G. I can't tell you where to buy or sell. All I can really do is pull up the technical targets. And like I said, I would say the next technical targets here for Ethereum based off of our next local / let me pull this up real quick. Based off our local and, oh, did I delete that fib? Dang, hang on one sec. Let me re-pull this fib here. I believe it was this extension. All I could really do here is pull up the extension levels for you and let you know where the next targets are. I don't know. And by the way, neither does anybody else. Nobody knows if the high is going to come in at 52.35, if we're going to get above that, push into 5,800, right, or push up into that 6,500, rip up to 7,000. Nobody knows exactly where this thing is going to top out. But all we do, right, is we're going to pull up those next key targets like we had up here, which got tapped. And then what do we do when we hit this level, right? Like, could this be the all-time high? Well, it would mean that ETH didn't make an all-time high, so I would say it's less likely, especially with the weekly money flow crossover into the green. Very likely we come up and sweep that all-time high. Literally said that yesterday. I am fully anticipating a sweep of the highs. Hopefully we can get the bigger all-time high to come in, and that's not the top. That would be super ugly. But that's not what I'm anticipating, right? Money flow still coming up here. Well, this is the 3-hour, but on the higher time frames, this would still make me anticipate any pullbacks to be higher lows and higher highs, right? It's like, maybe we get some effery here at the all-time high. But to be honest with you, for me personally, 52.35 up to about 5,800 the next targets I'm looking at. If it looked like the all-time high and, super bearish up here whenever we do get up there, if we do get up there, I'll say at that point, like, hey, guys, this looks pretty toppy. I'm selling some of my ETH. So I can't tell you whether you should move your targets or anything like that. If you're holding from 2018, it's like, are you up? Right? Like, you can always chase more gains, right? But if you do that, you could do it to a fault and wind up holding your bag all the way to the bottom, right? So I can't tell you where to sell, right? If you're in the green, you got to pay yourself to some degree. But the next targets are going to be looking up here. And I do think they will get hit, but, that's not a guarantee. That's just my personal bias. And I know our biases have been very, very correct. But there is just, I have to be fully transparent. Like, just because I've been right in the past does not guarantee I'm going to be right in the future. I will be wrong at some point in the future. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. It's just a game of probability. So it's all about being able to take some profit and control your risk, right? Like, manage that risk. You don't just want to, like, hold this. And it sounds like you're there. You're saying that, like, you might not get 7K. So you have the right mindset, right? You're not just holding on, hoping for 7K. But I would say, like, this is a major target. I'm anticipating big new all-time highs, right? But, like, if you've been holding since 2018 and you missed the 2021 all-time high, it's like, hey, if you didn't take profit up here, me personally, like, might not, for me, I might take a little profit up there. Not financial advice. I can't tell you what to do. If I tell you to sell your bags here or here or here, and we keep going up, right? Like, it's a losing situation, right? But these are the next targets I'll be looking at, and just kind of not advice, but that's how I would handle it personally, right? If you've been holding since 2018, I don't know when you bought in, but anytime in 2018, you're in profit. So, just keep that in mind. You got to pay yourself when you're in the green at some point. And you don't have to sell it all, right? Typically, what I like to do is dollar cost average out. Now, I have not taken any profit on my Ethereum just yet, but, you can take a small percentage here, hit the next target, take a little bit of a bigger percentage, hit the next target, take a little bigger percentage, hit the next target, take a bigger percentage. And then at least if you don't make it to your final target and you come down, you've taken profit along the way, right? So you don't round trip your bags completely. Now, taking a look at the lower time frames for Ethereum as well, obviously, guys. Oh my God, ETH hits all-time highs and it's dumping. Can you guys, every time, man. It's okay, guys. But I will bring up some of our key levels here. Let me go ahead and hide this target. I'll take this fib off the chart, and I will just pull up our upper range, which is what we have been looking at. Oh, actually, our upper range is right here. Hitting that POC, getting the bounce to the upside. Let me go ahead and hide this range, right? So this is very nice. It's kind of hard, right? And these big parabolic, and I wouldn't say parabolic, but there's big explosions to the upside, right? Like, it's hard for me to pull any kind of like legitimate like volume profiles or anything off of this just kind of like ripping structure. We need some kind of consolidation or something like that. But just from a general volume profile perspective, value area high, this is always going to be a big level to look at, right? You get the bounce from the POC, you break above the value area high. Your hope here is that you could stay on top of that value area high. If you did have to get that correction down to about 45.30, 45.35, big level of support, right? If you could hold a higher low there, you could continue that bigger push into new all-time highs. But if you are able to get accepted back in here, well, hey, maybe that does open the door to some lower levels. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But even from a long-term perspective, right? Like if we look at this, not a long-term perspective, but if we look at the 1 hour here, for me personally, right, like I need some kind of a pullback to look for a long, right? Like I don't personally, like even if this thing continues to rip, I'd rather wait for a pullback, or even if it continues up, wait for a significant pullback into key levels such as like a Fibonacci retracement or something like that. But from a 1 hour perspective, right, if I pull from the impulse to the high here, you got a little confluence here on your golden pocket value area high. I would prefer personally to bounce off the value area high because you don't want to get stuck back inside of this range. But I would say like this is a pretty decent zone of support to look at. And I will pull an anchored VWAP here as well. Bada boom. Let's pull it from the low. Yeah. So I would say like this is a pretty big level of support to look at. If you do get a bigger correction off that all-time high. And again, like people are going to be super bearish about this. We are on the 1 hour chart here, guys. Just like this dump, right? You look at the 1 hour, you're like, oh my God, this is so bearish. Everyone's like, typical Ethereum behavior, right? But like when you zoom out to a higher time frame, like there is no reason, in my opinion, to be like super worried about that, right? Our anticipation here for Ethereum is lackluster pullbacks, higher lows and higher highs. And we did get, we were talking about how I would like to hold this level because it does keep your nice clean market structure to the upside. So I would just say locally, higher time frame levels remain exactly the same. If we see some crazy dump down here, we wind up breaking below this value area low. Let me hide this extension. you know, at this point, right, you want to see if you could hold support on the value area high, which is also confluent with your current fib levels. You know, that could be a good support level to watch. Once you start losing the 786 at about 43.50, right, that's where I would probably be looking down towards the value area low of the range, where we do have support. This is why this level was moved at the beginning of the stream. You have the value area low / 786 Fibonacci retracement. This is the macro 786, aka doorway to new all-time highs. High, low, or low, high, higher, low, higher, high, new all-time highs. We've already technically gotten that, but you know, this is another huge level of support. If we lose this, right, I'd probably be looking for the bigger retracement down. Doesn't mean we're going to zero necessarily, right, but we do have the bigger levels of support on our macro volume profile sitting down here at about 35.30. You know, still a big level of support. We looked at this yesterday. If we did have to go for the bigger retracement, right, which at this point it would be nice to just continue up aggressively, but if you do see some kind of like crazy shocking rip to the downside, still got massive support down here and even some lower levels, but we might not even have to go down there, so I'm not going to cover those today. But this is what I would look at. I mean, this is the only thing I really can look at. It's your local volume profile. So, you know, in these situations, if I'm not long from the tippy low, right, I'm not chasing long positions up here. I'm not saying you can't continue up from here. I'm just saying it's not really a great risk to reward unless you're like sniping on the 1 minute time frame, right? Unless your long position looks something like this. Right, unless you're like, oh, let me take a long position here, stop loss below the low. Like, well, that's a pretty low risk trade, right? But if you're looking for the bigger moves, right, I can't really look to long the top of this giant green candle, right? It's just not where I look for longs. If anything, I would have to be looking for short positions. Let me just pull a new position here because, you know, even pull it up on like a 4-hour time frame. It's like, well, hey, if I want to take a long here, where's a sound place to put that stop loss, right? Well, you got to go below some kind of like either support or swing lows. I mean, this is just not a great, you know, it's a 13% stop loss, right? You know, in that case, the lower risk here would be not higher probability, but the lower risk here would be to take a short, right? I'm not saying take a short here. I'm just saying, you know, the reason why I'm not interested in longing after the pump is, you know, if you long at the bottom, right? Well, hey, you could say, well, hey, I'm long from here on confirmations, right? Stop loss below the low. And then like, hey, I could target the value area high and potentially beyond. But look at the risk to reward there. It's very good. Risk to reward up here, not so good unless you just set like a random stop loss based off of like nothing, right? You would have to set it somewhere down here, which is a terrible risk to reward. So the better risk there is to look for shorts, right? Because even if you lose the trade, you're taking a small loss rather than longing the top before a potential correction and then just getting totally wrecked on that trade. So, you know, I can't really look for a fresh trade up here. You got to let that thing settle down a little bit. And yeah, I would say like for me personally, if anything, I'm not saying you have to, you know, I'm not saying long down here, but you know, if I were to be paying attention for a long on Ethereum, it would be something like this, right? It would be like, if we can get the correction, right? And then push into key support, right? And then at that point, it's like, well, if I long the golden pocket here, I can put my stop loss below the 786, and that's a much better risk to reward, right? So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. But that's what I'll be looking at on Ethereum. A little bit of low time frame analysis for our boy Sean G. Actually, no, he didn't ask for the short term. He asked for the long term. Someone asked for the short term on ETH, some degen levels. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at. But not really again, guys, anytime you see a big pump and you start to panic, like, oh my God, I missed the long. I got to look for a long, right? Like, it's just not the best place to look. Where do you want to long? You want to long at the lows, right? You don't want to long at the highs. And again, that's not to say you can't continue up, but you know, it's just not necessarily the best risk to reward. Let's see. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. Said, keep those likes coming. Giveaways are tonight. Shout out to Tony D. Let's get it, baby. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any other super chats. Hey, yo. Shout out to Cyrus. Welcome in, bro. He just says, hey, yo. Shout out to Cyrus. But let me jump into chat here, and we will take a look at some altcoins as well. Long tops and short bottom. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. FOMO is dangerous. Yeah, shout out to Social. I was talking to the premium Discord about this, guys, where we really dive in to how to make it as a trader, right? Not just, you know, gamble on long positions on 100x leverage with super high risk and hope to hit it big, right? To actually build the skill of trading that you can take into the rest of your life and make money from your computer, from your phone, from anywhere in the world. It's one of the most freeing things in the world. You know, and there's no boss, right? Well, I guess I would argue that the boss is the chart. But, you know, just kind of talking to them about, like, you guys will never see me, even on Bitcoin, guys. Like, sometimes we look for setups. And if I'm not there to take the setup, I'm not chasing, right? Like, what if, even here, like it's just, I don't know. I don't think I really have to go over that, right? Like, you just don't want to long the tops. And if it keeps going up, you just have to be comfortable sitting on your hands, right? Because the market, time and time again, will just give you more setups, right? Like, if you miss this long, right? I covered this as well because we had a long setup down here in the premium from the low, right? If you missed that long, we also had another setup to catch the long if you missed it, but it was after the retracement. It's not chasing the move, right? You have to wait for the cool off. Look at your money flow. Money flow is coming up here very clearly. You guys can see this here on the 1 hour. Money flow coming up, right? What does that indicate? That indicates low, high, higher low, higher high. Continuation of the uptrend. Money flow indicates the longer term trend. This is your filter to let you know if you should be shorting the highs for massive continuations down, or if you're going to be better off longing the higher lows for continuations up. And you could see the money flow is indicating this. And we had another long setup that we took, which was if you missed that low, you could look for the golden pocket retracement, which if you're looking for the higher low to come in, that is the area where you're looking for it to happen. You come down, you tap the level, higher low, higher high, big continuation up. Right? And then even if you missed that, we had another pullback, not chasing the highs for a long. That's going to get you wrecked almost every single time. And, even if you chased it here thinking you're going to break out, sure, you would have made a little money, but you probably would have held it all the way back down. What's the better situation? To wait for the pullback into your key level of support, another setup that we had with key confirmations into a pullback with money flow coming up on many different time frames, looking for the higher low and the higher high. We broke above key resistance, right? What happens, right? You're better off longing on the dips than chasing the highs. And it's the same thing here. If Bitcoin ripped up to $300,000 right now, I wouldn't care. Sure, it would be nice to hold the long from the bottom to 300K, but you're going to have another setup. When it comes to my leverage trades, right, you just don't want to be chasing the moves, right? You're just going to sit on your hands. Sometimes the best trade is no trade, and you wait for that next cool off, right? It's going to wind up being better almost 100% of the time, right? And by the way, guys, when you miss out on gains, believe it or not, you don't lose any money. Right? You just miss out on potential gains. But if you think that way, you would have to be freaking out over every long that you miss. This is a horrible mentality to approach trading with. Because then you're like, well, oh my God, I didn't long here. Right? Oh my God, I didn't long here. Right? Well, it doesn't matter, right? Because there's just so many other long positions that you could potentially look to take. And you're always going to get that next setup. So for the short-term trades, right, I am not a chaser. Now, for spot bags, it's like if this is your last chance to get in below $111,000, well, then it feels a little worse, right? Because it's like if it rips up to 300K, it's like, oh, dang, I should have bought cheaper Bitcoin. But, in my opinion, right, this isn't even the best place to buy Bitcoin. The best time to buy Bitcoin was in the bear market, where we were talking about literally the exact strategies I was using to accumulate at the bottom. So, at that point, if we continue up from here and I don't get to hold a long position, well, hey, my spot bags will continue to pay me out. And I know for a fact, one thing I can guarantee you is Bitcoin will give you setup after setup after setup, day, week, month after month. So you don't have to chase them. It's a very dangerous, not only do you not want to chase them, it's like a super dangerous mindset to lose all your money. I promise you that. Trust me, I came from being the worst trader ever, chasing the money, chasing the quick gains, trying to get rich overnight, feeling bad when I missed the position, and it took me getting wrecked every time. I was the guy that said, oh my God, breakout, long it, wrecked. Oh my God, long it, breakout, wrecked. Oh my God, long it, breakout, wrecked, right? It took me a long time to develop this, the wherewithal as a trader to understand that you should not be longing tops. And I don't even care if I looked for a long here and it continued up. I don't care. It really means nothing to me. I know I'm going to either get a short or another long setup. So there you go. Let's see. Should have bought more. Shout out to Sir Crypto. Yeah, I mean, I could say that. I would say that for, yeah, that's a. I don't think anybody wishes, I wish I bought more Bitcoin, but, at some point you're only going to be able to buy so much. But yeah, it's never a bad thing. Bears punching the air right now. Shout out to Flat Smack. Dang it, Bears. Shout out to Flat Smack. Let's go, baby. Send it up, Flat Smack. He's our resident perma bull, baby. I love it. Shout out to Flat Smack and OG of the CandleMafia. Welcome in, bro. Let's see. Thank you so much, sir, for this. This actually made me feel better. Shout out to Omar. Yeah, I mean, and it's all emotion, guys. Like a very easy thing to identify if you're about to make a bad decision. The biggest thing, I recommend missing a move on purpose just to prove to yourself, right? Let's say you have a long position, you see all the confirmations, you're like, that's a good long. Don't take it. Let it come up. And you'll notice, right? Again, I cover this so many times, guys, even back here, missed this long, it's okay. Wait for the pullback. Don't chase the move, right? And even if this were to come up, I'm still not chasing the move, right? Because eventually it's going to come back down and give me a setup. And you could catch the short from the top, right? So it is literally pointless to try to catch if you just try to get into a trade every single day for the sake of trading, you're never going to make money. I could promise you that, right? It's very likely going to be a very, very big spiral to the downside as far as your P&L goes. So yeah, when you feel that FOMO, why do you want to take the long position? Is it based off the charts? And if you have a reason to enter based off the charts, did you get in on the confirmation or are you chasing it after the move happened, guys? Very simply put, and I'm in this situation, by the way, guys. I want to point this out fully. I'm in this situation. We had the long here from the, we had the bullish confirmations. You had 1 hour bull divs, SFP, beautiful position. I'm not in from there. I'll let it go. I don't care. I'm not tripping. I know there's going to be a million different setups. I've missed trades before. I will miss them in the future, but it doesn't matter. I missed this entry here, but I caught it on the retracement. I didn't chase it and get stopped out. I waited for the retracement, caught it, beautiful long position. Same thing here. Didn't chase it, pullback, caught it on the pullback, beautiful long position. Didn't long here, didn't long here, didn't long here. It will always come back down. Always, in some form or fashion, right? So it's always another setup. Very important if you're looking to trade, especially if you're looking to like short-term day trade like we do. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Gen Z. Said, let's get it, Mafia. $500 in Soul. Stacked on top of your ETH bag. Smash that like button. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Do I think Soul keeps pumping here? So let's go ahead and jump on into some of these other altcoins. So again, guys, you know, if you just tuned in, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I covered everything on Bitcoin. I covered Ethereum. But if we jump on in here to Solana, this is not our Solana chart. Let's pull up the actual Sol chart. And here we go. So I will say we did have our, you know, I mean, I'll be totally honest with you guys. If you watch yesterday's stream, it's going to be the same thing, right? But we had our low, right, from this golden pocket. Low, high, higher low into the top of the golden pocket, / anchored VWAP. Beautiful place to put in a higher low. What do we anticipate at that point? Low, high, higher low? Somebody put it in the chat. Higher high. That's right. Shout out to Creighton C. He answered it. I'm just kidding. I don't know if he's even in here. But we get that higher high. Looking for that breaker structure here. We even had it labeled, will it break? We tapped it. At this point, what was our key level of support on Solana yesterday? It's this low right here. This golden pocket, daily MPOC. As long as we don't break down below that, you have your low, high, higher low, potential break of structure to the upside. Will it break? This would be the anticipation locally. Low, high, higher low into the golden pocket. Daily MPOC. Back inside the value area low, which is our doorway to higher prices. Being above this level opens up the door to the point of control of the range. In confluence with the golden pocket retracement between 216.87 and 225.94. So we'll see. Will we be able to get the continuation? I'll say your key level of support as of right now, because we are back above this value area low, that's your biggest level of support. Maintain support in that range. The doorway to hit that golden pocket POC is still open. And the idea of the low, high, higher, low, higher, high also lines up with that. If we take a look at some of the higher time frames, 6-day money flow coming to the upside, weekly money flow coming back to the upside, it does not mean that we are guaranteed to get up there. It's an if this, then that. If we break down and we end up losing this value area low, well, I'd pretty much be looking at the same thing we looked at yesterday. You have the daily MPOC at 172.49. If you lose that, biggest key level I'll be looking at is sitting down here at $167. 786 value area high confluence. But right now we're back inside our area of value, which is very nice. So stay in this range. Doorway to the POC, golden pocket is open. Flip that golden pocket. Next target would be between the monthly and the value area high between 231.61 and 238.07. So there you go. Even if we have to get bigger cool-offs, you know, value area low could be support. If we break down below the golden pocket, 786 can be support. At this point, I would not want to get accepted back inside this value area high. And I'm going to get this off the chart, right? I like to keep this stuff on the chart to show you guys, right? We waited for this golden pocket anchored VWAP. We know it's a higher low opportunity, and we see it happen. I like to be educational here. So, you know, we see that happen. But I'm going to take this off the chart because, you know, this level's tapped already, right? So we're not going to look for that golden pocket to be support again. But the anchored VWAP, I'm going to keep because that's going to develop, right? If we do get the big dump down, this anchored VWAP might come confluent with the 786 or golden pocket up here, or I should say daily MPOC up here. And then if we break back down into this range, we could look for the bigger support levels. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on Solanzo, or Solanzi, as James Kramer likes to say. But anyway, someone new in the chat's going to be like, he just said Solanzo. This guy doesn't even know the name of the coin. But anyway, the sauce is always saucy. Shout out to G-Dub. Let's see. 913 likes. Is that true? Shout out to everybody hitting that like button. Let's go, baby. Smash it up. Let us give away some Solana. And maybe we'll give it away on maybe we'll give away Ethereum because Ethereum's pumping. Yo, can you take a look at Dino VeChain? Shout out to Chris Kirk. I don't know how to say that. I apologize. But yeah, sure, we can take a look at Ethereum. I'm going to take a look at some of the big boys first. We'll take a look at XRP, right? And what else did we look at, guys, yesterday and many streams before, right? Like just long-term sentiment-wise, right? Like BNB putting in the new all-time highs, which is oftentimes, I talked about this in a market update as well, right? Like new all-time highs for BNB, right? The exchange tokens are usually a leading indicator, for the altcoin season. And, especially with Bitcoin dominance breaking down, especially with a lot of the stuff we've been seeing, right? Like this is not really indicative of like no alt season incoming, right? It's like the opposite. So very, very nice to see that. We also saw a bunch of other things performing pretty well on top of that. But if we take a look at XRP here, let me actually pull up our chart that we have locally here. We looked at yesterday, right? So local resistance, we looked at this the other day, pulled from the high to the low. You have your golden pocket 786. We rejected the golden pocket for a lower low, right? So you can get that off the chart because we already rejected it. This daily MPOC is now tapped, right? So let me just change this to tapped. Bada boom. And what happens here, right? Let's come up to like a 4-hour time frame. Deviation below the low. 4-hour bullish divergences. Once you get above that value area low, it opens up the door to get into your POC of the range, which right now sits at about 313. We still have massive, massive resistance. Massive resistance sitting here in this zone. This sits between about 319 and 310. Anchored VWAP from the all-time high, weekly horizontal, golden pocket, daily MPOC, and the daily, which we just tapped. Right, so this is definitely going to be a major resistance level to watch on XRP. And if we do have to go for that bigger correction down on Bitcoin, which again, hopefully we don't have to do, this would be the biggest level of resistance in my own personal opinion. Once we get above this massive resistance, things start to look a lot better, right? Flip the macro anchored VWAP to support, and then we can start to cook up towards that 786 value area high, and then we can look for a potential breakout based off of what money flow looks like when we get up there. But just that beautiful volume profile rotation, guys. This is like a textbook volume profile setup. Lower lows, higher lows. There's your bullish divergence. And then at that point, right, you're just looking for that break above the value area low to push it into your next major resistance level, which is still sitting up here. And we have not pushed through it just yet. So just understand that you have a pretty big wall of resistance here. If XRP can get through that, it's going to start looking pretty good in my opinion, right? If we get the bigger pullback, 250 to 260 is still the biggest level I'll be looking at near this macro golden pocket. Call it 260 to 250. We also have many other levels within there. We have a daily MPOC. We have a 786 of our local fib. So just understand that. Hopefully we don't have to deal with it. That'd be very nice. All right, let's see. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything here. Shout out to Chris L. Tom Crown in the house? Hang on. There he is. Yo, hey, shout out to Tom Crown. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Shout out to Tom Crown, guys. If you're not subscribed to Tom Crown's channel, you're missing some extra sauce. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Tom Crown, baby. One of the best in the business. Shout out to Tom. Thank you for hanging out. It's always a good day when we got Crown in the house. What is going on, bro? What are you thinking? Let me know what you think in the chat, bro. You think you feeling all-time highs? You feeling alt season? Or are you feeling like it's going to be a big fake out into a bear market? Let me know, bro. Let me know. Can we check out Arrow? Shout out to Kicking It in the Sticks, I think is what that says. Says, hey, Frankie, can we take a look at Arrow? Thank you for that super chat. Yes, I will jump into Arrow. I actually brought up Arrow on the market update earlier today. And what are we looking at here, guys? Well, what did we look at previously? Here's your key level of support. Why is it your key level of support? Well, it's your fib pulled from the low to the high. Golden pocket, POC, 786 confluence. If you're going to put in, and once you break above the value area low, again, highest probability, next play for price to go, POC. Little turbulence, get above that POC. Next stop is going to eventually, right, in a confusing manner sometimes, be the eventual target of that value area high. And you can just see that. Absolutely perfect there. So bounce off the golden pocket. Beautiful to see. Let me go ahead and I will drag this down to the 786 point of control. I'll take this golden pocket off the chart because it is already tapped. So I would say as of right now, I mean, you do have to be careful, right? Because you are at resistance. You go from the low. We've now rotated this range entirely. So yeah, I mean, just a little resistance here. This is typically where I like to look for short positions. I'm not saying I'm shorting Arrow here, but this is generally overvalued based off your relative price action. And worst case scenario, if you have to refill this entire range, POC, value area low, I would argue, even if I move this golden pocket up where it should be, golden pocket value area low, I would say the biggest macro level of support right now on Arrow is going to be this macro golden pocket, which does sit on the value area low between about $1.05 and $1.02. 786 POC. This is the local 786 POC. You know, that's local, right? But again, if you're going to look for that full fill of the range, you got to be careful here. Could be a higher low and a higher high again. But if you lose that POC, you would anticipate that value area low. But, you know, we'll see. We'll have to let things develop a little bit. If we can get that breakout, you know, obviously look to flip that value area high to push up into some higher prices, which, you know, we'll see. We could bring up some of those upper levels at a later date. But I would just say you are at local resistance here. So, you know, could get some turbulence. But from a higher time frame perspective, I mean, there's your 5-day money flow crossover into the green, 6-day money flow in the green, weekly money flow in the green. What does this indicate? Even all the way from back here, it indicates that all of your pullbacks are going to be looked at as lackluster, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. All right, so this money flow stays in the green. If you get a weekly red dot, right, and you get a pullback, higher lows and higher highs are still going to be that bigger anticipation. We've seen this play out on so many things so far. It's all kind of started, guys, to be honest with you. The 2-day money flow crossover on a lot of stuff, 2-day money flow crossover on a lot of stuff, like back here on Arrow, we got it all the way down here. On other things, we got it like pretty much at the bottom, right? These 2-day money flow crossovers on the altcoins are very, 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 very bullish. Cardano got the 2-day money flow crossover all the way back here before its bigger run to the upside, right? We see this happen on a ton of stuff, right? We saw it happen on Solana, 2-day money flow crossover all the way down here. Low, high, higher low, money flow comes up. So you're looking for the higher low and the higher high. We get it. So, you know, we've been anticipating this all the way since these 2-day money flow crossovers. These were the first big macro signals on altcoins. The 2-day money flow crossovers are absolutely massive, especially when they come off of 2-day bullish divergences. Very huge signs for altcoins. It's very similar to what we saw happen in 2024 when we got the last big alt run, right? Like, what did we have? We had a lot of, where is it? Right here, right? 2-day bullish divergences into key support, which here was the POC. Lower lows, higher lows, higher lows on your momentum waves. Money flow crosses into the green. Overall anticipation is continuation of the uptrend. Very similar, right? Now, obviously, we've already had the 2-day money flow crossover on a lot of this stuff, but looks very good, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's not until, you know, at least on Dogecoin, not until we lose 16 cents where I'd be expecting a much bigger drop to the downside. Shout out to Kicking It in the Sticks. Thank you for the super chat. He says, thanks, man. You're awesome. Of course, bro. Of course. And we've been taking a look at Arrow recently because had been performing pretty well. And yeah, I mean, we give these levels live every single weekday, right? Off that bounce off of our last support zone, which I've moved down now because it's tapped. But that's what I'd be looking at next. That's your range. If you could break out of there, you can look for the another push to the upside. Again, I'm not going to cover the upper targets just yet, but you're at resistance. So, you know, I would say biggest levels of support, POC value area low. That's just how we view the ranges, right? Just like the biggest resistance is POC value area high on the way up, right? On the way down, you would look for the POC, right? There's a possibility if money flow is coming out, right? You could potentially get the rejection at the POC for a big drop down. But with the 2-day money flow crossovers that we have been seeing, the continuation up was very likely. So one of the simplest ways to look at the chart, guys, even if you're looking at a naked chart, right? I could just break it down like this. If you do not use Market Cipher, right, I highly recommend it, honestly. If you want to save some money, you can use our link. I don't just say that to shill our link. I just say that because I'd be lost without Market Cipher. I actually thought about this the other day. Like, I'd be so lost without Market Cipher, right? Because like a golden pocket retracement, right? Let's say you have a golden pocket here and you're looking for a higher low and higher high. Like, it just increases the probability so much when money flow is coming up. If I don't have the money flow, it's like so much more of a gamble, in my opinion, when you're not looking at money flow. But when it comes to like high time frame money flow or just money flow in general, right? Like even looking at the daily money flow, you know, crossovers indicate the long-term trend, right? It doesn't mean you're never going to, like, here's your money flow crossover. It doesn't mean that you're never going to pull back, right? Like, it doesn't call for this little pullback. But what it does call is the continuation of the uptrend. And you can just see money flow crossover, continuation up. Money flow crossover into the red, big continuation down. Money flow starts to come back up, crosses into the green. It's been a little choppy here, but again, if you come up to the higher time frames, it kind of cleans it up. 2-day money flow crossover, continuation to the upside. 2-day money flow crossover into the red, continuation down. 2-day money flow crossover into the green, continuation up. It's a very simple way to know if you should be longing the lows or shorting the highs. It's not that you can't short the highs when money flow is in the green, but if you do, you have to look at that as, well, hey, I might want to take profit where I'm looking for higher lows, because if the overall anticipation is up, sure, you can make a little money on that drop to the downside, but overall you're looking for the continuation up. So why would you just look to hold that against the trend? Very simple, but the simplest way, because I know market structure kind of confuses a lot of people. This is like an easy way to just identify what the continuation of that trend will be. All right, let's see. Money flow is pretty nice. Shout out to Sunny Eva. Yeah, I would agree with that. Shout out to Flight Vision. He said, there's bubbles coming up from underneath me in the pool. Either my floaty popped or I tooted. Both are bad news. Shout out to Flight Vision. What the heck? What the heck is going on in chat, guys? But there you go. That's what I've been looking at on Aerodrome. Let's take a quick look at VeChain. Somebody, I forgot who asked for it, but we will take a look at it for you. 10,000 likes. Let's get it, guys. Shout out to K Diggity. Come on, baby. Come on. But let's take a look at VeChain real quick. Let me reset Market Cipher here. All right, so let's take a look at VeChain. Unhide the TA. So yeah, value area low, value area high. Quick little front run. Let me pull this to the current price action real quick. Okay, yeah, so front run of the value area high technically, but let's take a look at our local key levels of support. So you have your fib from the low to the high. Where are you looking for your higher low? Inside that golden pocket, potentially to the 786, but we didn't have to get there. You held the golden pocket POC. So I would say if you hold above this POC, what would be the next stop for price? To be quite honest, I'd be looking for a potential break of this high. Will it break? Right? Low high, higher low. Stay above that POC. Higher high could be in the cards here to continue that bounce. It wouldn't be really until we lose. POC is big, but honestly, lose that 786. That's where I'd expect the tap of the value area low. As long as you could hold above this zone, potentially, like honorable mention, 786. But at that point, right, I wouldn't love that as much, because from a trading perspective, if I were to long this 786, I'm longing directly into the POC, right? So it's like, I mean, not saying you can't take that with the opportunity to flip that POC and continue up, because again, really the higher low has an opportunity to come in between the golden pocket and the 786. But when you long into the 786, you're going right into resistance, right? So it's nicer to test that POC because you have a much bigger ride to your next target here, right? Which would be the value area high. And it does make sense. Low, high, higher low, higher high. So that's what I would look at on VeChain. From a high time frame perspective, it is a little bit different than everything else. It is lagging behind just a little bit, but money flow on the 6-day is trending to the upside. 3-day money flow is trending to the upside. 2-day money flow trended into the green. We're back in the red here, but I would anticipate this to generally follow the trend on everything else. It's just been a little bit of a slower mover. So it is a little bit of a dino coin, but your weekly money flow also coming up here as well. So if you're looking for a big move up, what do you want to see on money flow? You want to see a big red wave and money flow looking to cross over into the green. So, you know, even if you had to pull back more aggressively here to the 786 or even the value area low, as long as that money flow continues trending up, that crossover into the green will likely lead to the continuation of the move to the upside. So, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'd say the biggest support level here is between, you know, 0.023 and 0.022. 786 sits at about 0.020. Lose that, going down to the value area low. But this would be your biggest support level to hold in order to get up to that value area high. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Will it break? I don't know. We'll check back in on it soon. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Darren Does Things. Says all-time high streams when we get 1,000 likes are the best. Shout out to Darren Does Things. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Did we hit it? We did. We're at 1,002 likes, guys. We did it. We're going to be giving away $500 in Solana and 3 Frankie Candles hats. Thank you, guys, for smashing that like button. I appreciate you so much. Let's go. Shout out to Darren. 1K likes, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. Did we just hit that as I checked it? Because we're at 1,002. So I might have checked that literally as it was happening. Michael S. said, Frankie Candle's coming out of pocket tonight. 1K likes. Just pulling my pockets inside out. Hey, if I could give away to the Mafia, there's no other people I'd rather give away to. 1.5K next. Shout out to Frankie's cousin. Is that really my cousin? Trying to lay low. Hey, Frankie's cousin, if you're really my cousin, say something only I would know. Prove it. Prove it. All right, let's see. Yo, Ligma Wick said, giveaways are a scam. Where's Lucho when you need him? Lucho hacks the giveaways and wins. Used to win all the time. When 2K likes. I think we have gotten 2K likes before. I forget what our actual all-time high is. Maybe Tony D knows. Tony, do you know what our all-time high is? Yeah, shout out to Jesse. Said, Frankie, we never hit it this fast, brother. Shout out to Jesse. We actually sometimes we have some suspicious behavior, and we do know how to check it. So it does have to be legit. So yeah, if it's not legit, if there's fishiness where someone figures I don't know why someone would do this though, because it's not like you would try to get likes, buy likes for the channel for a chance to win $500. I don't know why someone would do that, because chances of them winning are 1 in however many people are in here, 1 in 1,000. That's kind of but we do verify the likes. If they are legitimate likes, we do the giveaway. But if not, it's we can't do that, unfortunately. But hey, all-time high is not unlikely that we hit 1,000 likes that soon. Yo, shout out to Cyrus. Said, time to sell the house for fart coin. Maybe. All right, so let me go ahead. We took a look at ETH. We took a look at Solana. We took a look at XRP, Arrow, VeChain. I run through some of this other stuff. Cardano, we obviously did take a look at. I don't think I dove into it, but just kind of took a quick look here, right? Cardano, just also very similar to what we would want to see here. You get above that value area low, you slip it, but what did you hold here? You held your previous value area low, previous value area high. You're back inside your range. So I would say your key level of support here is the value area low at about 90 cents, right? If we can stay inside here, as long as you remain above this value area low, the doorway to the point of control does remain open. If we do have to pull back again, value area high, obviously key support. If we break back down into the value area high, it does open the door to come back down towards that POC, which I would not anticipate this golden pocket to hold up again. Right? You have your low, your high or low directly on that golden pocket. Higher high comes in. So if we come back down there, right, I would not expect that to hold up. As a matter of fact, I'd probably look for a loss of that POC golden pocket for a push into the 786 where we could get the bigger bounce, right? So worst case scenario, I would look for if you get acceptance below that value area high at 83 cents, you could potentially look for that bigger drop to the downside towards the value area low. But right now, I would say, take it for what it's worth. Above that value area low, doorway to the POC at $1.21 stays open. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. Said, should we make it so that subscribed viewers have a higher chance of winning? Also, checking into highest likes of all time. Shout out to Tony D. We could just change it that you have to be subscribed to win the giveaway. Yeah, I don't know how you would confirm that. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Tony D. You could probably find out a way. Tony D can do everything, guys. I'm telling you. Yo, shout out to Dima. Thank you for the super chat. Said, just wanted to say thank you for everything you do with a goat emoji. Shout out to Phoebe. Yo, shout out to Dima. I appreciate that so much, bro. I'm here just doing what I love, man. I don't got to thank me. I'd be here if I didn't have people watching me, I'd be doing this alone in my room. But I get to sit here in the Frank Candle studio with the Mafia, which is unbelievable. Super blessed. Shout out to Maryland. Said, you the GOAT, Frankie. Shout out to Maryland. I appreciate you so much, man. And hey, you study these charts and you take what we teach and you learn from it and you apply it to your own TA. You might just start growing big goat ears and start by yourself. Tony said, Nightbot has it built in. I will change it to subbed only. Okay, there we go. Shout out to Tony D. All right. Frankie, did you ever get a new chair? Shout out to Flight Vision. Yes. I did get a new chair. I actually do still have the old chair, though. So it's not in this. It's not in the studio, but I do still have the old chair. Can I get a giveaway winnings in the bear market? Shout out to Crypto Maxi. That's probably when most people need it. Crypto is life. Shout out to Justin. I agree with you, brother. Crypto is literally my life. Not just most of my net worth. Most of my life. Every single day. No days off, baby. Are we in buy the dip season? Every dip is a gift, so take it that way. Yesterday was a great DCA day. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Independent. I would say on altcoins, I'd feel a little better about that. Yeah, I do think, the big buy the dip season on Bitcoin is potentially coming past. This is buy the dip season on Bitcoin. This is buy the dip season on Bitcoin. At this point, right, especially if we put in a new all-time high and get another significant dip, you know, the higher up we go here, especially from a timing perspective, as we looked at many a times in the past here, guys, you know, as we approach enough time for a full bull market to play out, as we, where is that cycle chart? Dang it. Oh, I got to zoom out. You know, as we approach this, guys, it's like we are getting very, very, very close to, you know, how long we see these bull markets play out, right? So it's like if we wind up pushing into new all-time highs and we're hitting like near where we have previously topped out, and again, it doesn't mean you have to top out the same amount of days, but, you know, just generally, you know, I would say, you know, it gets more and more dangerous to say it's buy the dip season for Bitcoin. But the altcoins, obviously, much more in a situation where it's like, you know, these are nowhere near their highs, a lot of them, right? Even Cardano, even though it's been doing pretty well, right? Like you're still in a situation where you're still far off the all-time highs. Fartcoin still far off the all-time highs. Ondo still far off the all-time highs, right? So this, I would say, is a little bit of a better situation for altcoins, right? Because if you are going to anticipate the continuation of the overall trend, like we see the Ethereum money flow coming up into the green on the weekly, right? It's like, well, hey, you know, this could be by the dip season. But on Bitcoin, I think it's going to get very dangerous when you start to see people saying, oh my God, the bull market's here, finally, buy the dip. Those are, personally for me, the dips that I don't buy. The dips that I would buy are the ones where people are saying, oh my God, bear market, oh my God, bear market. Those are the buy the dip opportunities, because once you rip into those all-time highs, you know, this is not the start of the Bitcoin bull market, right? Bitcoin has been in a massive bull market for a long time. A lot of people are going to enter the market and think this is the start of the bull market. Me, you know, I'm not saying you can't go to 500K, but I'm personally not in that camp, right? So it's really when you have the masses that are screaming, oh my God, we're going to zero, those are the dips you want to buy. And if you want it, the most intense example I can give you is when Ethereum was at $1,300, when we were approaching our macro value area low, when we were approaching our macro 786 Fibonacci retracement. This is a buy the dip situation, right? This is where you want to get bullish, right? Everybody was bearish on Ethereum. I told you ETH was dead, right? Like people come in every time we get a dump, they're like, told you it was the bear market, right? You know, this is where you want to get bullish. Not after you've already had the massive rip to the upside, but just think about the sentiment on ETH when we were down here. But we stood true in our sentiment here. It's like, I don't know how much lower you guys want this to go. We are at major key support. It's the second largest crypto by market cap. If you think there's no new all-time high coming for Ethereum, you don't think the alt season is going to happen, that's fair, right? If you want to make that decision, you got to make that decision, but you got to live with the outcome, right? And just like if I were to say this was, you know, this is where you want to get bullish and we came down, I was willing to live with those consequences, right? But I know from a technical perspective, this is the high probability place to look for a bounce, not where you get bearish, right? So when you're coming into a place where you know that you should not be getting bearish and you see the masses being bearish, that's usually the buy the dip opportunity. But what are the masses going to do? The masses aren't going to get bullish until the move has already happened, right? You know, everything's in the news, everyone comes in, and then those are the dips that they're looking to buy. But they don't understand that the real dips you should have bought were down here in the bear market, and then you get that second opportunity to almost revisit the lows to get in before you come to the upside. It's very similar to Bitcoin in 2020. I covered this in the premium live stream earlier today. In 2020, right, you had Bitcoin bounce off the lows, rejected its golden pocket when pulled from the high. You get that big pullback, the pandemic happens, and what do you push into? You push into your macro 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? So if you didn't get in here, that was your last chance before things went crazy. I'm not expecting that for Bitcoin, right? I think we're much further along here than Bitcoin, but ETH is in a very similar situation where we had that drop down to 1,300, right? It's the same exact thing. I'll just show this, right? It's the same exact thing. You have the fib from the high to the low, right? It's a little confusing because we rejected this so many times, right? But you come up to the golden pocket 786, you reject back down to the macro 786. That's your next chance to enter in before it goes crazy, right? But this is not where people get bullish. This is where people get bearish. But because of that, it makes me feel even more bullish. But once you go into those all-time highs, people are going to think it's just getting started, and they're looking for the pullbacks to buy the dip. When people are screaming buy the dip, it's going up forever, golden super cycle, we're never going back down. Those are not the dips you want to buy. You want to buy the fear. The more fear the low, the more higher probability it is for a continuation up. And if you don't know how to identify that, just watch this show. And, you know, when people are saying buy the dip, I'll be telling you guys. Everyone wants to buy the dip, guys, but I see all these bearish signals. You know, I will keep you guys updated, obviously. All right, let's see here. Fear is the best. Shout out to Santos. Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Theodore. Theodore, welcome in. He says, clowns X beer equals world. Clowns who don't drink equals Earth? I don't know. I don't understand what that means. But shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Boots of Haste. Said, love you, Frankie. Shout out to you, brother. Welcome in. Frankie, any chance you could show the close resistance levels on Bitcoin above the current price? Shout out to Dima. If you go back to the beginning of the stream, we covered all the local levels on Bitcoin, also the liquidity we have sitting above. So if you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, you get the full analysis step by step. So there you go. Ondo, yeah, we can take a look at Ondo, no problemo. Let's take a look. We got to come over to the altcoin chart real quick. Yo, shout out to Crypto Al. Welcome in, bro. He said, join the premium Discord today. Looking forward to it. Shout out to Crypto Al. Well, we're looking forward to having you in there, bro. I'll keep an eye out for you in the next live stream, which will be Monday. Let's go. All right, let's see. Fire stream. Shout out to I'm Not Batman. It's a little suspicious. That sounds like something Batman would say. Shout out to I'm Not Batman. Yo, shout out to Pandemonium. Said, I make so much money with volume profiles. Thank you, Frankie. Shout out to Pandemonium. Let's go, baby. Hey, we don't teach it for no reason, guys. You know, it's not even like hindsight. We don't just look in hindsight and let's say, look, we deviated below the low and then we went to the high. We deviated above the high. We went to the low, right? But like we look at it in current price action, right? So yeah, I mean, these things will absolutely change your life, guys. It keeps you understanding where the undervalued price for an asset is and where the overvalued price. What are the masses thinking here? Oh my God, breakout, breakout, breakout. But if this is not supported by other TA, all this is overvalued price for a high probability rejection back into the range and a rotation back to the low. What are people feeling here? Oh my God, it's dumping. This is bearish, right? You have to have a contrarian thought or a contrarian viewpoint on the markets, unless your TA might be calling for more downside there. In that case, then you can listen to it. But chances are, when you are at a lower price and things are looking good, that's where people get bearish. 99% of people. This is just a statistic, right? There's a reason why most people lose money in crypto. It's because they come in at the wrong time. They come in after it's in the headlines, and then they're just exit liquidity for people who endured the bear market and paid attention when they should have. Right? And that's why you see these, and just to explain why the psychology of the market plays out like that is because if you enter down here, you're not concerned this is the bear market, right? Because you're not in drawdown, right? So the emotion is much lower. You're not going, oh my God, we're never going back up. What is going on? I bought Bitcoin and all it's doing is going down, right? These emotions, these people come in every time and say, like, just randomly say, oh my God, bear market. And it's the way they say it, too. They're like, if you don't think it's the bear market, you're an idiot, right? And it's just like, that's like the biggest red flag to me. Like, it's like, okay, obviously you got into crypto yesterday, which is fine. But at the end of the day, if you're in from here, these little 30% pullbacks are not emotional, right? They're not scary because you're still in massive profit. The people who get emotional about these pullbacks are people who literally came in at the wrong time. That's what retail does, right? We are retail technically too. I would say we're smart retail though. But they get in here, they endure this big pullback. That's why they're so sour on the dumps, right? But for us, it's a very calm, cool, and collected approach to the market because you're like, I mean, hey, this pullback's not really scaring me. I'm still in massive profit. And you can view the charts in a very clear manner, right? Because you don't have the emotion kind of scaring you. If you're down 30% on the bag that you just bought at the top, it's much harder for you to believe in a bounce here, right? But when you just look at it and you're not really anywhere near your entry, it's much cleaner to just look at the TA. Same thing here, right? All the people. And what happens here? If you look at this, we had a spike in search term analytics. We had a spike in attention in crypto here, which means a lot of retailers are going to enter, resulting in a very bearish sentiment at the low. Same thing here. Oh my God, finally, buy back in. Oh man, it's the bear market. We're never going back up, right? But like when you have those good entries and you understand how the market moves, you have a lot less emotion on those dumps to the downside. You can just see it from a technical perspective. So there you go. All right, let's see. All right, let's take a quick look at Ondo. Ondo. Let me take a look at the daily here real quick. All right, so we still have our full Fibonacci retracement here. Now, we did bounce off of the local golden pocket, right? We got the low, the high, the higher low on our local golden pocket. We are, oh, wow, look at this. Yeah, we are tapping this again. I don't always expect these, or I very rarely expect these to give you good support on the second tap. But for what it's worth, you did get a little bounce here. But I will say, this is the local fib pulled from the higher low into the higher high. The full fib still sits down here sitting between 83 and 73 cents. This is still a very key level of support to look at, in my opinion, right? So if you did have to get the bigger breakdown, right, we did bounce off the value area high. You went from the low. Next likely place for price to go is the POC. I forgot who said it. They were like, I'm making so much money with the volume profiles. Well, that's probably because of the high probability nature of them. Flip the POC. Next target is the value area high. And at this point, you've rejected the value area high. We got the drop down towards the POC. We're starting to bing bong around here. If we get the bigger drop down, I would say the biggest target's going to be between the golden pocket and the POC of the range. If we break down below that POC, golden pocket, like I said, I forgot what we were looking at, but maybe it was arrow. 786 is there. But at that point, it's like you're below the POC, which could indicate that you're going to get a drop to the low. I wouldn't really want to see a break of this level, to be honest. If we want to maintain the market structure here, I would much rather hold on top of this golden pocket, right? Or off the 786. Once you lose it, like that's a bad sign in my opinion. So hopefully we could just hold the local golden pocket. But if we do have to come back down, just understand you still have key support here on the POC/golden pocket. So watch that. And then from a higher time frame perspective, 5-day red dot printing, 6-day red dot looking to print, weekly red dot also looking to print as well. Money flow on the weekly here is honestly not looking great. Again, it's going to take a long time to kind of curve up if we're going to get it to come up. But, from a binary fashion, you have a red dot printing. Money flow is in the red and coming out locally on the weekly. You really want this to curve. You want this to start coming back to the upside for the bigger move. You could start to see those warning signs here on stuff like the 5-day. 5-day money flows in the green. 6-day money flows in the green. We just need that weekly to kind of follow. I don't know why it's not tracking closely with it. Typically, they do, the 4-day will cross over. And the 4 days out here picking dandelions still. Like, this 4-day money flow has been useless. It's just like 3-day money flow is doing what you would think it would do, right? The 3-day money flow crosses into the green. Then shortly, usually the 4-day will cross over into the green. Then the 5-day will cross over into the green. Like, this money flow has been chopped up on the higher time frames, specifically on the 4-day for some reason. Red dot printing, if you do cool off, this would be the biggest level to watch in my opinion. 786 is the line in the sand. I really wouldn't want to lose that 786 at 73 cents. Golden pocket POC sits between 83 and 78 cents. That's the biggest level in my opinion. And then if you do get, whether you get the higher low from where we're at here on the local golden pocket, right, you would be looking for a break of structure to the upside. If you have to come back down, it would be the same thing, but you would just look for that higher low right here. Right, and then look for the break of structure to the upside. But you're within your range, and you are approaching from the high, so yeah, it's like the volume profile would call for the full fill here, but we'll see if money flow can just kick us up and keep that higher low, or worst case, put in a little bit lower of a higher low before continuing up. But mostly everything is probably going to follow Ethereum, so just keep that in mind as well. Pump is such a great word. Shout out to Flight Vision. I would agree with you. Just not getting super, super, super overzealous here. Best TA out here. Shout out to Heat. I appreciate you, bro. And even on Bitcoin, guys, again, scrub back if you have not seen the Bitcoin TA yet. But not getting, super overzealous here. It's very nice to see that pump. And again, we talked about taking the low here and why it makes me feel a little bit better. But we still got to get above 118.3. That's the biggest level to get above, in my opinion. There is still a possibility to get the bigger pullbacks, right? But that would not change my long-term sentiment. My sentiment would still be final phase of the bull market coming in. It's not until we lose that 786 all the way down towards 104 to 103K where I would be significantly worried, right? And hopefully we don't have to deal with it. It's looking pretty good right now, though. Let's see. Shout out to Lee's. It said, what indicator are you using for oversold and sold signals? If you're talking about this down here, this is Market Cipher B. If you're talking about the volume profiles, these are a free tool that you can use on TradingView. And I have tutorials to show you how to use all of it. Not only how to use the volume profiles, not only how to use Market Cipher B, not only how to use the Fibonacci retracements, but how to use it all together to actually trade and make money here in this market. Shout out to Gen Z, said ETH 1 hour money flow crossover into the green. Asia will continue to pump it. Let's take a look here. 1 hour money flow crossover into the green. In confluence with your 16-hour green dot, that's that 1 hour Market Cipher B continuation strategy, right? Green dot on the 16-hour, 1/16 of the 16-hour is, hang on, Hang on, 1/16th of the 16-hour. Hang on. Would be the 1 hour, I think. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. But yeah, the the 1 hour is the 1/16th of the 16-hour time frame, which means when you have that green dot on the 16-hour, well, that's nice for a pop to the upside, and then you can look at that 1 hour money flow crossover. Once you get that 1 hour money flow to crossover, the probability here is the continuation to the upside, and we saw this happen in a super aggressive manner in this case. So let's see if we can do it. Also, daily green dot is printing, which I'm not gonna lie. I mean, technically we already put in the higher high here, but this does look like maybe you could print a daily daily bearish divergence, which would call for a break of structure to the upside, which technically we already got, but hopefully we can get it to push up a little bit more into some key targets, potentially 52 or 52.35 to put in that daily bear div. But daily green dot is printing. Your 90-minute money flow is crossed over into the green as well, so you have that market cipher B116 strategy in play right now. So I would look at this 90-minute. As long as this money flow stays in the green, higher lows and higher highs could be the more likely situation. I would love to try to find a, I mean, it's just kind of hard on these like straight up moves. It's like I tend to like to have a little bit of consolidation to get a little bit more structure, but I'll be looking for those higher lows and higher highs at this point. Liquidity below us. I don't know if you're talking about ETH or Bitcoin. Let me know. We could try to take a look at it. Where's Mrs. Candle's hand? Shout out to Flight Vision. She hasn't come in just yet. But if she comes in, I'll make sure to get a good old sniff, a little sniffy sniff. There we go. Bing bong mug today, guys. Bing bong mug. Shout out to Dimmy. Hey. He just says, hey, what's up? What's going on, bro? Gary says we need a sniff. Mrs. Candles! Mrs. Candles! I don't know, guys. I always say I scream for her, and I'm like, did you not hear me screaming for you? She's like, you screamed the whole night. I don't know why you think I'm going to hear you screaming my name. I was like, that's a good point. Shout out to Jet, said ETH to 10K, maybe 15K. That is not my base case, but definitely not impossible. If I were to pull my extension levels, my bull market extension levels. It says, don't need consolidation, just need to break the all-time high. Now that's the base. Well, you do have to be careful there. This is definitely something that could play out for sure, Jets. I would agree with you there. But you do have to be careful, right? So obviously, major bull market target zone number 1 for Ethereum would be sitting up here between, 7,300 and 5,800, and then the next target would be between 10 and 11,000, and then up to 15,000. There is no guarantee that you have to go up to that final target, right? It's like everybody waits for the high targets. I am not personally going to wait for that to take profit. If we come up into our first zone here, this will be the first take profit for me. Understand I hold ETH from much lower, so it's not like I'm buying here and taking profit there, but this would be the first kind of take profit zone, right? And then if things look good here, if it looks like the top's coming in here, I am not waiting for 10 to 15K. There's no guarantee that you're coming up to 10 to 15K, right? Like a lot of, unless there's a reason to look for it as we push into this target, this is likely the next target. If things look very good, then we can look for the continuation into the next zone, which would be between 10 and 11,000. So the targets are there for sure. And one thing I will say for the break of the all-time high, I would love to see a big continuation up here just today, or maybe Asia pushes up as well. Definitely possible. But you do have to understand that it's not guaranteed, right? You can fake out the all-time high. I mean, let's look at the last time we broke the all-time high for Bitcoin, right? You break the all-time high, and it's like, well, sure, right? This is, and Jets, I'm glad you brought this up because this is a good point, right? You break the all-time high, right? But that does not mean that you're guaranteed to just hold this and then continue up, right? If you lose it, what do you have? You have a failed auction of the all-time high, which would indicate a big correction to the downside, which we did get. Does that mean that you're not going to make a new all-time high ever again? No, right? But I wouldn't expect that to guaranteed hold. Just understand that. But it would definitely be a big key level to watch, right? I mean, it's been our next target to the upside. Pull it up here. Where is it? Bada boom, right? So if you can break up, I mean, we're already back below it, but if you could break up, right, sure, holding that all-time high would be good. But, at this point, it's like you need some kind of consolidation to find a higher low before looking for the higher high. So, yeah, it's got to get back above it for it to flip to support. But it is possible to, break back down, just to be clear. But anyway, the Mrs. Candles hands in the chat, bro. You guys are crazy. Let's see. Shout out to It's Happening said, I wish I could actually keep my eyes on chat, but I am driving most of the time. Hey, shout out to It's Happening, just driving and watching the charts at the same time. I absolutely love it. Bada boom. Shout out to Upgraded Anime. What is going on? Gen Z says $500 in Soul giveaway will be a story that person... story of that person hold for 10 years. Man flips $500 Solana giveaway from famous millionaire streamer to 500 million. Yo, shout out to Gen Z. I would love that, right? They just hit me up and they're like, hey, man, you don't remember me, but back in the day, during the Frankie Candles live stream, I won a giveaway and it turned into a big fortune. That'd be crazy. But I got enough ADA. I'll take a hat or Soul, though. Shout out to Michael S. Let's go, baby. Let's go. This pump wouldn't be possible without BBL technology. Shout out to the BBL doctor. I can't fight you on that, bro. I mean, you got to get that BBL going. You got to get that BBL going if you want those pumps. That's for sure. I mean, what are the syringes for? You got to pump the buns up, baby. Make us a millionaire. Shout out to Frankie in the chat. Well, hey, that's the goal. That's the goal. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to I don't know how to say that. I'll just call you Music. Said, what is your favorite alt for max upside? Shout out to Music. I am not somebody who is gonna, and there's a very good reason for this. When it comes to, especially with influencers, a lot of people are gonna get wrecked looking for this, right? Because everybody is looking for conviction off of somebody else, right? They're looking for somebody else's conviction to confirm that they have the best possible investment. At the end of the day, unless you're holding a completely trash altcoin, right? Most altcoins, and I know this is going to be a hot take and a lot of people aren't going to like this, a majority of the altcoins will not make new all-time highs. And I am fully willing to be completely wrong about it. I think 100% not every altcoin is going to make an all-time high, but I would argue that a smaller percentage will actually make a new all-time high than won't, right? Or yes. So it's very hard, right? Like when you're trying to pick the next hidden gem, sure, you could do that, right? Like maybe, you could try to pick the next hidden gem. But for me personally as a technical trader, right, obviously you want strong fundamentals. But at the end of the day, if the chart looks good, I'm going to look for the pump. So for me, what I look for, you could even for something like I always point towards the Dino coin, something like Polkadot, right? Getting a nice rip to the upside here. For stuff like this, it's like, I would say there is a possibility that Polkadot does not make a new all-time high, right? And but does that mean that you can't make a massive gain off of this? Absolutely not, right? And what you want to do is you want to gauge this off of the rest of the altcoin market, right? If you have a ton of stuff ripping into new all-time highs, and as you're looking for tops on the altcoins, right, if you're looking at Total 3, others, whatever it is, right, when that all starts to look really toppy, at the end of the day, wherever, let's just pretend you could pick where the all-time high is going to be, right? We'll see Total 3 top out. We'll see Ethereum top out. Once that is all happening, right, chances are a lot of the altcoins are not going to be near their all-time highs, or they're not going to be above their all-time highs. So if I see that overall the market is looking very toppy and Polkadot is not at brand new all-time highs, I am not just going to hold on and be like, but we have to make new all-time highs. This is not the case. This is a fallacy, right? But if you're coming into major targets here, at the end of the day, if you bought Polkadot right now and you got to move to your value area low, which I would anticipate a move above this, but let's just say conservatively you got to your value area low, it's a 235% gain. When you focus too much on trying to find that one gem that's going to give you the max gain, right? This is something that people will chase for the rest of their lives and they will never find it, right? Like nobody you watch, me, any other influencer is going to know. They might be able to find new good projects. I'm not saying that. But there's there's no way, that's not how I invest, right? Like there's no way to like guarantee that like, or, you know, I think this one's going to have the most gains ever, because at the end of the day, anything is possible. And I just trade based off the chart. Like I don't think Polkadot will make new all-time highs. Hopefully it does. But even if we come into the retracement levels, right? Golden Pocket 786, it's a 950% gain. So instead of like just risking it all to try and find that 100x, that 150x, sure, some stuff will do that, but it's just like really risky. Like I would just diversify myself on charts that look very, very good, that at least have a good amount of upside. I'm not saying that I'm exposed to all Dino coins. I have newer coins as well, but it's just like, you know, trying to, I'm not really, you know, I'm sure there's other people out there that'd be willing to do that, but as someone who fully understands how the market moves, it's a very risky thing, and I just don't want to have my community holding on to something that like, we believe in it, right? And it's like, we're all going to make it. We're going to get the 100x, guys. I'm telling you, this is the one. Just if you've been here in 2021, there's a lot of stuff people held on to waiting for massive new all-time highs, and they just never come, right? That's why I only take an information chart-based approach here, because that's what's going to play out. It's not going to be, at the end of the day, if the altcoin market looks like it's topping out and Polkadot only makes it to its value area high, I'm probably selling my Polkadot, right? Because the chances of everything topping out and then Polkadot just going on a run to put in all-time highs because it has to, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, I have coins that I like. Maybe I'll do like a portfolio video and talk to you guys about what I hold. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And during altcoin season, at the end of the day, rising tides lifts all ships. You're going to get pumps on a lot of stuff. And trying to just pick that one that's going to be the best is a very risky game. But anyway, let's see. And I mean, as a trader, guys, I'll be totally honest with you. And especially, it's like I know it's a little different when people first get into crypto and they're looking to change their life. I know it sounds counterproductive. We're all here to make money, and you guys all will very likely make money. But, you know, for me as a trader, it's like, I don't know. It's like I can find 3Xs and 5Xs on the Bitcoin chart, right, when we're leverage trading, right? So it's like, you know, from a technical perspective, it's like I don't even need to pay attention to the fundamentals. Sure, they're important, right? Maybe I pay attention to fundamentals more for my long-term spot bags. But it's like at the end of the day, right, like we could catch this little move to the POC, you know, I'll day trade this, you know, on Bitcoin with leverage. It's like, it just like totally separates me emotionally from the market. It's like trying to like hunt out the next 1000x. It's like, and what if it doesn't 1000x, right? Like you're going to miss all these other moves on coins that were very likely to pump, but you were chasing that life-changing money. You could have made a 5x, but instead you were chasing the 100x. Would you rather have a very high probability 3 to 5x and then have a couple other lower cap altcoins that maybe you hit a winner on 100x, or do you just want to like try to find that one big coin and go all in on that? That's not what I'm about. But yeah. Shout out to Rob Scott, said, you guys are all sleeping on XRP. You want to be the adult in the room? Well, then play with the adults in the room. Shout out to Rob Scott. I'm definitely not sleeping on XRP. That's for dang sure. Shout out to XRP. I do hold a pretty chunky bag of XRP, which is very in profit right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not in the camp of, you know, again, I'll say this. I've said this millions of times. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. Or not the bearer of bad news, but XRP is very likely not going to $10,000, right? Very likely not going to $100. My targets for XRP, if we do see the new all-time highs that we would expect, between $8 and $10, right? We have our major bull market target here, number 1, sitting at $5, right? That'd be very nice. Target number 2, up here at about $8, $8.50, and then you have the $10 to $11 zone down here. I have a big XRP all-time high prediction video that you guys can watch as well, but just understand, guys, you know, I hope so. You know, if XRP goes to $10,000, I'll be like a multi-quadrillionaire. So I'm not, you know, that's one thing I am happy to be wrong about. But, you know, very unlikely, guys. Very, very unlikely, in my opinion. And I'm not going to sit here. I mean, waiting for $100 is one thing. I'm not even going to sit here and wait for $15. Now, if we do come up to $8, right, and things look really good, it really all depends on what the charts look like. If we get up here and the top looks like it's coming in, I'm going to sell my bag. If we come up here and the top looks like it's coming in, I would sell my bag. I wouldn't anticipate that. But if that was the case, I would sell my bag. I am a technical trader, right? And honestly, it's the best way to look at the chart every single time. If you are not looking at the charts and you are just praying based off of what some influencer says the price is going to go to, that's not a trading strategy. That is just gambling and trying to like you're just trying to like you're trying to like borrow the confidence of other people, right? But just understand that person online, just because they're confident that they think it's going to hit, if they're not showing you like legit data-based reasons for that to happen, you're gambling, right? And I just have no reason to look for XRP to go to $100, at least right now in this bull run, right? $8 to $10 is where I'm looking at. If we can sneak up to 12 to 14, that would be great. But I'm definitely not holding my XRP back to $100. And if it does go to $100, I wouldn't. There's nothing I would rather be wrong about. But it's just not. And we'll check back in on that at the time. If XRP goes to $100, I will start that stream saying I'm wrong, and then I will cry tears of joy. So yeah. Psychological level at $10. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, Market Cypher B looks good on every alt. I would say Market Cypher B has looked good on every alt ever since you got the 2-day money flow crossovers all the way back here in June, right? That June low, right? Or yeah, that June low. What is this? This is virtuals. We'll take a look at something like Cardano. This is usually what I go by. A 2-day money flow crossover here is like one of the biggest signs you can have on the altcoins that you're going to get the continuation up. Even on Polkadot, right? Last time we saw the big continuation through this volume profile. What do we have here, guys? Bullish divergences on the 2-day. Money flow crosses into the green. Flip the value area low. Fill the range. Back above your high. Fill the range in full. We don't have... Whoops. We don't really have the 2-day bullish divergences. Not cleanly, in my opinion. But 2-day money flow. Faked out into the green, back into the red. Faked out into the green, back into the red. If we can get that to cross back into the green, I mean, it's almost the same exact thing. Like every 2-day money flow crossover. Higher low, higher high. 2-day money flow crossover. Higher lows, higher highs. 2-day money flow crossover. We can get that back in there, right? I would argue that this 2-day money flow crossover was kind of where it started. 2-day money flow crossover. Higher low. Reclaim value area low, higher high into the range. Definitely a possibility. So this has all been looking pretty good ever since June. So yeah, and just continuing to look good, to be honest. Total market cap fighting for Trilly. There it is. She's fighting, baby. She's fighting. Yeah, look at this too, right? Like, is there a reason even on total market cap, like, is there a reason to be worried here, right? Well, no. It's like you're just retesting the structure, right? You get the breakout. You come and retest some of that structure, right? You come, whoops, right? You come up. You retest the structure. Oh, my God, breakdown. Oh, bear market, bear market. I mean, you're still just retesting this structure here. Higher low, higher high. How could you have indicated that or had an indication that that could be the case? Well, I guess this is a little bit weird because your money flow never was really deep in the red. But money flow coming up, right? This looked good. And look at the back test there. Look at the back test on that previous high. Boop. So, yeah, hopefully we can hold that. That'd be very nice. Do you have any? Let me pull a fib here as well. Golden Pocket 786 would be the level to look at for the higher low locally. It's where you're getting the bounce from. So there is an argument to be had here that you could be looking to crack that high on total. That'd be very, very nice. Will it break? We shall see. We shall see. But you got your low, high, higher, low right into the golden pocket / structural highs. See if you can crack that structure to the upside. That'd be very nice. Doesn't have to happen today or tomorrow or next week, but hopefully we can get it to happen. All right, let's see. Check Solana on the weekly on Market Cypher. Yeah, money flow coming back up. VWAP still kind of rolling over there a little bit. Again, so you don't, again, just because we're seeing this stuff play out, guys, this is what we've been waiting for on the pullbacks, right? Like, this is not, I want to be very clear. I don't want to create FOMO here at the top. Could you break out? Sure. I hope we do. But, you got to tame the anticipations here, because pullbacks could still happen, right? This is why you're bullish. Weekly money flow in the green, cool offs on things like, we're looking at Ethereum right now, but, long-term bullish here, right? Like, not, sure we're bullish here, but, I would never say this is like the best time to enter a trade on Ethereum. And listen, that does not change if we continue up. Right, still doesn't make it the best trade, right? You could always take breakout trades, of course, but more often than not, you want to buy on the retracements, right? Or just look to long on the retracements rather than try to breakout trade. Because if you just look at it, right, what happened if you tried to breakout trade the last time? Big correction. What happens if you long the low? Well, you're exposed to the breakout without having to panic about pullbacks, right? You can just hold that position for more profit rather than getting in literally at the highest price that the asset's ever been at. So, yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Vitality says, why is Market Cipher that high and alts are that low? Market cap that high and alts that low. I mean, we would want to, we could take a look at Total 3. Right, Total 3. What do we have going on here, right? So this is probably a better thing to look at to anticipate what's on alts. Same thing here back in August. Or on August 3rd, I should say. Big pullback. But what's it into? Golden pocket value area low. This is support. What is your money flow telling you? Your money flow is crossing up, coming up. This makes you look for higher lows and higher highs, not massive dumps, right? So what I would look for here on Total 3 is, honestly, break out of this value area. I mean, you're at the all-time high, right? So that sits at, 1.16 trillion. I mean, you're there. You're there. We filled the range in full now. Looking for higher lows and higher highs. Money flow is on the crossing over into the green on the 3-day. 4 days. 4 days crossing into the green too. I was expecting this to be picking dandelions in the outfield, to be honest. 5-day money flow in the green. 6-day money flow thick in the green. Weekly money flow thick in the green. But again, you do have to anticipate the red dots to come in, right? So if you get the cool offs, again, it's not. Again, everybody gets bullish on the pumps. Like if you get pullbacks, I'm not saying you have to pull back, but if you get the pullbacks, just understand it does not change the longer term sentiment. If you ever buy and you're instantly in drawdown, it doesn't mean the chart is bearish. Like the chart was not bearish up here. This is mega bullish. This does not change that on a higher time frame. Sure, on a 1 hour time frame, that's bearish. But on a high time frame, again, you're looking for higher lows and higher highs. You just don't want to buy in on the pumps. Like even here, you buy here, sure, could it continue up? Yes. But more often than not, or more times than not, that's going to get you wrecked. I could promise you that, right? And you could just, look back towards any other pump on ETH. Oh my God, breakout, a massive dump. Oh my God, breakout, massive dump. Oh my God, breakout, massive dump. But what happens if you long the lows? You would have at least had time to take profit and move your stop loss. What happens if you long the lows? Massive move up, right? You're always going to be better off buying the dips than just FOMOing in at the top. Please don't do that. If you are new here, I know it's hard. Please refrain from doing that. And it's the hardest when you're saying, I can't buy the rip. I don't want to buy the rip. And then it keeps going. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't matter. You don't know if it's going to rip or not, at least right now. But just because you rip from here doesn't mean that that's the best time to buy. It doesn't make it a good trade, right? And yeah. Anyway, I'll try to break that down as simply as possible. Shout out to Critical, says Super Cycle. Shout out to Critical. They're going to start calling for that, bro. I promise you. You bring it into all-time highs. This time is different. Bitcoin's going to $1 million. You don't understand. Bitcoin's more fundamentally bullish than ever. I'll be sitting here looking at the charts. At the top, looks like it's coming in. Guess where Bitcoin also looked most fundamentally bullish as ever? Up here, right? Every top you come in, it's always going to be more fundamentally bullish than ever, right? So just keep that in mind. But anyway, giveaway time. Shout out to Naishiana. I know I said that wrong, but shout out to you, says giveaway time. Guys, we do have a bunch of money to give away, so let's go ahead and jump on into those giveaways here. Try to buy when they say we're going to zero. Absolutely. Shout out to Mr. Wake. That would have gotten you a beautiful entry here on Ethereum, right? If you were buying when everyone was saying everything was going to zero, what would your entry on Ethereum be? You'd be in from down here. Meaning that any of these pullbacks would not be scaring you, right? It's the people that buy the top, they get scared on the pullbacks. And you'll see it happen here, and we just recently saw it happen right here. Shout out to Tony D. Said, I'm about to post 10 standard winners for the 10 bags of Cardano. If Frankie wants, we will draw the like goal winners next week after we verify tonight's likes. Yeah, shout out to Tony D. Let's do that. No emotion. Shout out to Sean. 100%, bro. 100%. Smoke him if you got him. Shout out to Erica. Yo. Michael S. said, post my name, please, and thank you. Let's go. Free stuff for the win. Let's go. So 10 bags of Cardano. And let's do the 3 hat winners as well, Tony. Nightbot better pick me, or it'll be Fightbot. Shout out to Flippa Frank. Let's go. So there we go. Shout out to Infinite Team TA. Shout out to Piven. Shout out to Alex Wickline. Shout out to Wix Wi-Fi 89. Let's go. Wow, that rhymed. Say it with me. Suey. Shout out to Suey. Let's go. Crypto Craze. Donald Massey. It's happening. And Pumpcast. Let's go. We should call this stream the Pumpcast because we ripping. Let's see. Nightbot loves me. Shout out to Jay Violet. Yeah, Tony, if you want to drop the 3 hat winners as well, we'll go ahead and do that. And Nightbot's rigged. It's rigged. Scambot. Yo, I love the Mafia's beef with Nightbot. It kills me. Yo, shout out to the Panda Prophet said I just took screenshots. I suggest you do the same. That's low key, guys. I'm not gonna lie. When you start to take screenshots, there's almost been no time ever where I taken a screenshot and it has not been at least close to the top. It's actually, in a weird way, it's not like a legit strategy, but in a weird way, if you feel yourself taking profits, just think about that from like a logical standpoint. It's like, what are you probably thinking? You're probably thinking, I got to screenshot this because, oh my God, I'm in profit. When do most people from 2021 wish they were taking profit? When they were, oh my God, I'm in massive profit, right? So like when you're taking that screenshot, you're thinking like that's a great emotional sign that maybe you should take something off the table. Having a massive profit with a screenshot is nice to send to your friends, but the it's not as fun as actually making the money. I'll tell you that much. Trust me, I've round trip my fair share of bags. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Tony's going to drop those 3 winners. Nightbot equals Gensler. Yo, it's wild. Shout out to Shout Out says I take my shout out back. Shout out to Shout Out to Shout Out. Shout out to Shout Out. From Antarctica. Wow. Shout out to McDonald. I just took 5 ETH off the table. Hey, shout out to Diaz. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And hey, if you hold more than 5 ETH, it's okay, bro. You can take some profit and then sell the rest on the way up. Satoshi Sacker says sage wisdom. Nightbot equals Powell not cutting rates. Yo, Gen Z, that's wild. Link, I can take a quick look at Link while Tony grabs those winners. Let's go ahead and do that. The hat winners are already in the super chat. That's my bad, guys. Is it the last 3, Tony? It's not labeled. Or unless I'm tripping. I could just be blind. It's definitely a possibility. All right, let's take a quick look at Chainlink here. I mean, yeah, I looked at Chainlink on the market update. It's still in the same spot, right? As you guys know, last live stream, we were looking for a flip of support. We had the flip of support on the value area low, making the POC the next highest probability for price to go, right? We had the 786 golden pocket, but as we have that magnetic target here of the POC, it is very likely to get tapped. We push into that level. I would say, in general here, I mean, fulfill the range is not impossible, but you can get turbulence at the POC, right? Although the fulfill the range is very likely, it is not always the cleanest, most beautiful rotation, right? It's not always just a straight line up. You will get resistance at the POC before continuing back up, right? More often than not. Sometimes you will get the clean fill, but more often than not, you will get that turbulence. So just understand you are at resistance here. If you get a pullback here, as long as you stay within the range, the doorway to the POC and the value area high are very likely to get hit. We've already hit the POC, so if we could flip up here locally, I would just say, next likely place for price to go is going to be that value area high to take this previous high. Why are we looking for that? Well, high, low, right? Or low, high, low. Let me pull the fib here, actually. You have your low, your high or low barely comes in on that 786, but you do hold it. So you have your low, your high or low. Could look for that breakage structure to the upside into that 3186 level, or technically 3067. So that's definitely in the cards, and also the volume profile calls for the full range fill as well. But again, it doesn't have to happen right this second. You could see the turbulence first and then eventually come up and snap that high. That would be the anticipation, in my own personal opinion. So there you go. Let's come back. Standard 10 winners are pinned. Hat winners are in my super chat. There we go. Shout out to Tony D, because we can't pin 2 chats. So the hat winners, CandleMafia's John Cena. Let's go. Could not pick a better person to win a hat. Shout out to CandleMafia's John Cena. Professor Max with a hat win. And Okinin Baby. Shout out to you. You won a free Frankie Candles hat. I don't know what color it will be, but it is guaranteed to increase your profitability by at least 750,000%. I'm kidding. That would be false advertising. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Super happy to see ETH make that all-time high. I get to keep my facial hair. I get to keep the hair on my head. Thank God. That was getting pretty dicey at one point. But yeah, you guys, if you just tuned in, scroll back to the beginning of the stream, you'll see the full analysis, not only on Bitcoin, but pretty much all the altcoins that most people want to see. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated if something crazy happens over the weekend. But right now, just watch that $118,300 level on Bitcoin. If we could flip that, send it to the upside. But just be careful of those rejections from that zone, because we still have that money flow coming out on the higher time frames. But hopefully if we get a rejection there, we can have the money flow come up, put in the higher low, and send it up to higher prices. But overall, long term, everything is lining up. The Russell 2000 breaking out. The stock market breaks out. It all looks very, very good. Dominance dumping to the downside. So my long-term sentiment would still be to wrap this thing up for that final phase, the explosive phase of the bull market. Fingers crossed. That's all the time I got for today's live stream. I'll see you guys on Monday. Same place, same time. Go touch some grass. Have a great weekend. Be safe. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
What's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up from my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to MJ. Said, you're a fast talker. I can't fight that. I can't fight that. You should see me in real life. You think I fast talk on the live stream, you should see me get into an argument with somebody. They're like, wait, hang on. I want to disagree with you, but you're talking too fast. But anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And fingers crossed. Shout out to Panda the Prophet said, seriously, guys, take those screenshots. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out,